NBC Sports Network welcomes you to the following presentation of the INDYCAR Series.
Welcome to Newton, Iowa, about 45 minutes east of Des Moines, and Iowa Speedway for race number 9 of the 2012 INDYCAR Series season. Well, that's not what we like to see when we open up a broadcast. The trucks are out, the jet dryers are out. It has rained and rained hard here late this afternoon and early this evening. But the good news is it's not raining right now, and we don't think it's going to rain anymore. And we're still optimistic about starting on time, scheduled about an hour from now. Welcome to INDYCAR Central, presented by Verizon on the NBC Sports Network. I'm Kevin Lee. Normally we would be in the INDYCAR Fan Village tonight. And here's a look at what we've seen here in the last couple of hours. One of the early races was the Star Mazda race, by the way, won by Sage Karam, but they didn't finish the race because of threatening skies, lightning, and you see the sped up time lapse here of fans evacuating the stands, and then after some threatening skies, it opened up a heavy downpour. It stopped raining for a little bit, then started raining, but it did stop again about 30 minutes ago. No rain at the moment, and again, we're optimistic that we're going to see racing coming up in just about an hour here at Iowa Speedway as everyone continues to work to get this track dried out. Well, it's our 4th oval in the last 5 races, and the last 3 have been very entertaining. We will not see an oval, by the way, again until September 15th, a Saturday night race at Fontana. Townsend Bell joins us now. Townsend, we have seen good ones the last few weeks. Should we see more of the same tonight?
Well, Kevin, it's been really great to see the small guys step up. We've had a Dale Coyne car win. We've had Ryan Hunter-Reay with Andretti win. The question tonight is who's going to be the next small team to step up, win one of these things. The other question is, and what I can't wait to see, is who's going to be the first to really sit up on and get up on the wheel and hustle around this Iowa track. They're going over 5 miles an hour faster than they've ever been around here before. If you like the driving in Texas, Milwaukee, we're talking about a challenge tonight at Iowa. It's going to be a heck of an event.
And Milwaukee certainly was challenging a week ago. Thank you, Townsend. And we also were delayed a little bit because of weather. But what turned out to be a good race and a great weekend for Andretti Autosports.
The grain is gone. The skies have cleared.
The Milwaukee Indy Fest is underway. Dario Franchitti is out in front.
Dario has led every single lap.
Bad news for Scott Dixon as he had worked his way up to 3rd, and now he's got to serve a drive-through penalty.
I don't understand what's going on with that, because when the green flag goes, you can pass on restarts.
Well, he's serving the penalty, and this is going to hurt him a lot as he had looked to be a contender.
From what I saw, I didn't see anything wrong with that.
Ryan Hunter-Reay is out in front.
Whoa, Briscoe. Dario Franchitti has put it into the wall.
Michael Andretti put so much on the line to restore this historic race. Now his driver's going to go into victory lane.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, his 6th career win and 2nd win in Milwaukee.
Happy Father's Day to my dad at home. Wish you were here. Best dad on earth. Appreciate it. You put me here. This one's for you.
Thanks, Kevin. Ryan Hunter-Reay, the last man to win an oval race, 41 points out of the lead, brother. This is kind of a pivotal race. It's the ninth race of the year. How you feeling?
We're feeling great. I mean, we just came off a really great victory for the team. I mean, that was big for us, not only just performance-wise, but also on the business side. And hopefully we can do that again here. I think there's some variables that are moving around tonight with the rain and everything, and we're trying to decide if we want this or we want that from the car. It's really tough. We got a feel for it last night though in the heat races, and I think tonight's race will be pretty interesting, especially when the tires start to fall off. So that's when we're looking to move forward, hopefully not be moving back.
Some guys were happy that you had 30 laps instead of just 2 because they learned so much.
Yeah, we did. We learned a lot about who had the strong cars, kind of why. Three teams here at Andretti Autosport. We learned quite a bit last night because everybody kind of tried something different, and what we tried wasn't the one. So we're going to go with more what James and Marco tried last night. So that's what really helps when you have a team like this that's working in the right direction and working together. Things are firing on all cylinders, and we certainly expect to win here tonight. Anything less than that is not getting a job done. So the pressure's on.
All right, Justin, you won at Texas. You had a good qualifying run at Milwaukee and lost an engine. It just seems like to me you're a completely different person on an oval now. You seem to have so much confidence where you didn't used to have it all.
I don't know if it's confidence. It's just, you know, the team are giving me a great car, so I was just trying to make the most of it. And I feel good, the car feels good, and we're just attacking. And there was times last year where I would attack, but, you know, as the run went out, with the flat-out racing that we had last year, as opposed to this year where you're having to lift off the gas, we just struggled to keep up. Whereas this year, you know, you got to start lifting, and, you know, there's a chance to, you know, keep with the pack. And, you know, INDYCAR's done a great job with this new car and the regulations and what you are and aren't allowed to do. So, you know, it's kept everyone in a tight box, and there's nobody with huge advantage. So we're enjoying it. We like the fact that we can fight and we can be part of it. We want more. We want to be at the front every weekend.
Dale Coyne had you and Bill Pappas a couple years ago and let you go. Do you think he's learned his lesson, that he's going to keep you guys together now?
I hope so. Hopefully, you know, we're going to build this into a long-term deal and can be up there, like I said, challenging week in, week out. We've had some really good performances this year. They've had some difficult times like Barber. So I think we've learned from it, and we're trying to just constantly improve and keep building. You know, like Ryan said, you know, they got 3 teams working to try and improve. James and myself are working hard to make sure that our data is transferring over, and we can learn as much as we can.
All right, Kevin, these guys are serious about winning this race, and I think even though Justin's starting a little further back than he'd like to be, he's got a good car.
13th on the grid tonight. Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to start 7th. As mentioned, he's up to 4th in points. There's a look at the championship standings. Look at Simon Pagenaud, the rookie, in 6th position. James Hinchcliffe has moved up to 2nd, and Scott Dixon has dropped to 3rd. And one of the reasons that Dixon has dropped in the points is because of what happened last weekend at Milwaukee. He started 21st, raced his way all the way up to 3rd, but at about mid-race was ordered to serve a drive-through penalty for jumping a restart. However, after the race, Dixon finished 11th. Bo Barfield, the race director, announced that Dixon should not have been penalized. Race control believed they were reviewing the restart on lap 103, but were instead looking at an aborted restart on the previous lap. Race control did not run the replay all the way through to see that the 102 start was waved off, not because of Dixon jumping. Dixon passed cars as they got off the throttle for the yellow. But that was not realized until after the race, which was way too late to help Dixon. A week later, let's see how he's feeling at this point. Scott Dixon is with Townsend Bell.
Yeah, Kevin, standing here with Scott. So, man, after last week, you have that issue. The call comes out. Your race is pretty much over at that point. I know you were fired up, but when you walk into the chief steward and he basically says, look, we just flat screwed up, what else can you do at that point?
Well, you know, I got to, you know, give credit to Bo for, you know, and the IndyCar Series for owning up to it. But, you know, yeah, I was going in there ready, guns blazing, and then somebody walks in and says, sorry, you know, I didn't really expect that. And I didn't know what to do, but, you know, it was obviously a string of things that kind of went wrong in race control, and, you know, we decided not to fight the call when it happened just so we didn't lose another lap. You know, we wanted to be as close as we could to the leader. That's why we dove in immediately. So, can't say I've ever seen it before, and it was unfortunate that it was called on us, but, yeah, definitely ruined the day.
I know you're focused on tonight. In the heat race, you started at the back, finished at the back. Dario won his heat race. Are you feeling like you've got the same car, the same ability, vehicle-wise, setup-wise, to go take it to these guys tonight?
Yeah, I think definitely. You know, I wouldn't say that the team across the board is really that confident with the car, and so we pretty much threw the kitchen sink at my one last night, and we started on scuffed tires. So, you know, we wanted to save the 5 sets for tonight, which I think is going to be important when it comes down to it. But, yeah, tonight's what pays points, so we'll be right up there, man.
What's going to happen at lap 60 on the tires?
Well, hopefully nothing like it did at Texas.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be, you know, a little bit conservative, I think, on the balance to start out. You know, typically as it gets darker, we pick up a little more, you know, it gets a little more loose. So, you know, we're going to be working on the car and making sure that we stay with it. But, you know, I think both target cars are going to be, you know, pretty quick tonight.
Starting 8 tonight, Kevin, and looking to turn around his luck.
All right, thank you, Townsend. As you might expect, IndyCar has taken some steps to try to make sure that what happened in Milwaukee does not happen again. Bo Barfield explains.
For Milwaukee, we relied on basically what was 2 separate systems. We would have to get a timestamp from the timing and scoring, the official time that we would either go yellow or green. to match up and synchronize with a separate system the replay videos. That, as it happens, didn't match up properly because one of the computer's clock basically went haywire. So the changes that we've made is to have a specific dedicated camera on the starter so that we see the moment that he waves any flag, whether that happens to be green or yellow, and that already existing within the video system where we get all of our replays, there's no longer the need to synchronize systems. When we go full course yellow, which we tend to have calls for passes under yellow, similar to when we go green, we tend to have calls for reviewing restarts. We have that precise moment that the starter waved either flag, and we can find that timestamp that now matches up directly within our replay system rather than relying on a timestamp from an outside system.
All right, we normally would be in the IndyCar fan village visiting with our fans and our friends, but I have invaded their space. These are the booth mates with Bob Jenkins, Jan Beekes, and Tommy Kendall. Tommy, I'll start with you. Reaction to everything that transpired and what we heard from Bo Barfield today.
Well, I mean, what Bo didn't say, he's been using the system for 8 years and has never had anything even remotely similar to this. So it just shows a bunch of things had to line up perfectly wrong for it to happen, but it did, and that's unacceptable. Dixon says, how can you flog a guy who's sitting there saying he's sorry, but the damage is done. It'd be like if I borrowed a guy's Bugatti and I wrecked the daylights out of it and said, I'm really just this tearful, heartfelt apology. At the end of the day, you've got a wrecked Bugatti. He has a missed opportunity, a bunch of points that he cannot get back, and so we don't know what that ultimate effect will be, but that's a pretty big stain.
Jan, what'd you take from all this?
Well, one thing I just took from the interview we just saw with Scott Dixon is they're always thinking ahead, even when they're receiving a penalty. He said, we didn't argue it. We came into the pits immediately so we wouldn't lose another lap. I mean, when you're being penalized and you're thinking it through and thinking forward in the championship, that is amazing to me. Yes, they cannot get the championship points back. They can't get those positions back. But Scott Dixon is third. He's higher up than he was at this point last year, and we know that he always finishes strong, and he can make up that difference, I think.
All right, we'll look forward to hearing more from Jan and Tommy. Tommy filling again for Wally Dallenbach Jr., who is on assignment in Sonoma this weekend. Look for Tommy's insight and his humor and wit throughout the race here tonight, which we think is going to get started on way. We're dealing with some rain, but we think we're going to see about a 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock local time start here tonight. There's a look at new livery for Oriole Serbia. That's Sandvik Koreman, a tool supplier in the metalworking industry, on the side of the car. He continues to move up throughout races. Started 20th, finished 4th at Milwaukee, so that's now 89 positions, improved from the start of races, and he has another chance to do it tonight, starting 18th. Stay with us. More coming up from Iowa Speedway.
IndyCar Central on NBC Sports Network is presented by Verizon, official wireless partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Welcome back to Iowa Speedway. IndyCar Central presented by Verizon continues. You see some hardy race fans that have weathered the rain that are outside, but it's not raining now, and we expect to go racing at the top of the hour. Call Star Indy for live in-car cameras, driver pit crew chatter, and more. Download IndyCar Mobile, only from Verizon. Well, IndyCar tried something different last night. 3 heat races to determine the starting lineup. The second practice session determined the groups. The 9th through 25th fastest cars were split into the first 2 heats, with the evens going in the first and the odds in the second to determine starting spots 9 through 25. Then the top 8 from practice raced in the third heat to determine the first 4 rows. Jan Beekes and Tommy Kendall are with us. Jan, take us through the highlights.
Well, the highlights started right away with a big wiggle from J.R. Hildebrand. You ride on board. Woo, the green comes out. He throws it sideways, but no problems whatsoever for Graham Rahal. He sails to win heat number 1. Grid's 10th, but with a 10-grid penalty will start 20th. Rubens Barrichello on the high side there got passed low by Tagliani. Then Tagliani in Heat 2 gets passed on the high side by Tony Kanaan. The high groove is the place you want to be. Jimmy Vasser likes what he sees from Tony Kanaan. Then Marco Andretti on the right. He was fast, but not as fast as Dario Franchitti because he was hitting the rev limiter. Cars like Elio Castroneves passing him on the high side. But look at this action. This was between Briscoe and Hinchcliffe. Some very close racing. But Dario Franchitti comes through to score the pole position point and the $10,000. Hinchcliffe was quick to run over and say, hey, sorry about that one.
Yeah, in this format, the drivers were very skeptical going in, but I think all of them liked what they saw enough to think it needs to be explored. But all the ones I talked to would like to see something at stake, tires, points, or money, something to give you an incentive to move forward.
And some even talked about letting the winner in heats 2 and 3 advance onto the feature or the main, and we get 10 in that race. All right, here's how they're going to line up the first 4 rows, determined from heat number 3. You see Franchitti and Castroneves on the front row, teammates on row number 2, teammates again in row number 3, and then Ryan Hunter-Reay and Scott Dixon in row number 4. Let's hear from the pole sitter, his 28th pole of his career. Dario Franchitti is with Townsend Bell.
Well, Kevin, I was watching up on the roof in the first practice, and nobody figured out this new format quicker than Dario. He was the first guy to try the high line. He was quick. His line looked flawless. Dario, you're starting up front tonight, obviously. Does anybody else really have a chance?
I'd love to say no, but I think there's quite a few of them. I mean, it's a lot changed conditions tonight. Green track again. The target car last night was pretty good. We found a line that it liked. And the good news is it wasn't hateful on any other line. So I think when we get into traffic tonight, we're going to have some options with the car, which is something we haven't had in the last couple of weeks in Texas, certainly, or in Milwaukee. So, I'm not sure ultimately how it's going to play out, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable with the car.
I watched it at Texas, big struggle there on handling almost from the drop of the green flag. Yesterday's heat race was 30 laps. We're thinking 60, 70 laps in on a stint with tires. Where do you think your balance is going to go, or where do you think that's going to head for most of the field on tires?
I think the trick, Townsend, is to keep it in balance. Whatever the controls in the car, if you can keep it in balance, and as that balance migrates, you're going to get understeer at some points in the run, you're going to get oversteer. And depending on the line you run and the traffic and how people affect you, you're going to have to just try and keep that balance centralized, really. And if we can do that all night, I think we'll be in good shape. As it cools down as well, I expect balance to shift too.
Well, I'm sure he's left no stone unturned. He's even got the mini wellies going here for the wet turf. So this guy's attention to detail is spot on. Robin, what's going on with you?
Well, he's got nothing on Castroneves. Look at these driving shoes, son. I got news for you. He's not going to use the left foot. The right foot is going to be gas city. Kid, what do you think? What do you expect? Because last night you were able to use the high groove and made a couple of cool passes. Do you think we'll see that in the race?
I think so. The track's going to get better. Obviously, the temperature right now, it cools down tremendous, probably about 10 degrees from yesterday. So it will be able to be a fast race, and hopefully both lanes, not only the high group, but also the inside lane as well.
All right, you won the first race of the year at St. Pete. You're 5th in the points. You're only 43 points out. This is a nice night to get your first oval race victory in a while.
Yes, I agree. We got to go back to the victory lane. We got to recoup what we lost grounds in some of the tracks, and especially Detroit. Unfortunately, I made a little mistake there, but we know we can do it. We showed yesterday on the heat race, and I'm really confident with the Penske truck rental car. We've seen that we have a strong setup right now.
You've driven champ cars, IRL cars. Now we get this new version of car. Is there anything similar about this car at all? Is it a completely different animal? Isn't it fun to drive?
Oh, it's fun to drive. It's still missing a lot of horsepower like it used to be in 2000, 2001. But again, I think when we start finding a little bit of the formula, racing in the small ovals like we're doing right now, maybe we're going to go back to what used to be without having the horsepower. So I believe right now everybody's brainstorming together, and we're going to have the chemistry that is going to make oval racing back the way it used to be.
Well, I can tell you this new line of driver shoes, he's going to be out Monday, the Castroneves wet look, and I don't know. I still think you ought to wear those in the race, brother, because you would be on the gas. You couldn't help it. It'd be stuck between.
You wouldn't fit in the car.
All right, back to you kids.
All right, thank you, Robin. Well, while we were in Indy in May for the 500, Jan ventured just southwest of the track to the home of the INDYCAR chassis maker, Dallara.
This is the 105,000 square feet, $7 million facility that is not only racing manufacture, but also fan experience. One of the first items in the fan experience is this video board that will show everything from Dallara history to the cars that they have made and been involved with. For example, Gianpaolo Dallara's first job, Enzo Ferrari hired him to work and develop the wind tunnel, but he wanted to go racing. So he then goes over to Maserati, and some faces you'll recognize. Roger Penske, one of the drivers, along with Bruce McLaren, their race engineer, Gianpaolo Dallara. The fan experience is divided into 3 components. First, it's the design and the manufacturing of the race car itself. Then it comes to tuning and aerodynamics, and finally, with what it feels like, the idea of simulators putting you right in the driver's seat. On the other side of the wall, from the fan zone, is the actual manufacturing facility. You start, if you're going to make a carbon fiber composite piece, in a clean room, where you have rolls of carbon fiber and composite that then you shape into the size you want, and then brought to this. Yes, this is an autoclave. You may recognize it's essentially a $100,000 pressure cooker that bakes and compresses those pieces to make the finished product. Then you move it to a non-clean room where you do the grinding and the finishing to make it just the way you want it. Next stop is quality control, where all the pieces that are manufactured are measured precisely and cataloged. Then a laser etching machine will put a specific serial number and a barcode with a secret code that only Dallara knows and make sure it's authentic. The carbon fiber composite pieces also have special RFIDs implanted in them. Take a scanner and be sure it's authentic. The fan experience also talks about aerodynamics. So on display will be this 40% model of the previous Dallara chassis. Now these models are handmade and cost over $300,000 more than the full-size car. And having just arrived from Italy is the 50% version of the current car, the DW12, with all the latest aerodynamic updates, and you can see how the technology has evolved. They've also made provisions for an enormous state-of-the-art driver simulator. And behind these doors, you'll see and get an idea just about the scope and how large this will be. After the tour, you can make your way past the chain-link fence and concrete barriers to a modern Italian cafe, where they'll prepare for you any of the delicacies from Italy. So I think, in fact, I'll have a bit of an espresso. Ciao.
Thank you, Jan. That's been on my to-do list to have a coffee there, and I'd really like one of those simulators. I don't think it would fit in my basement very well. There's a look at Joseph Newgarden's car. He may have won the Indy Lights title last year and shown impressive speed here this season as a rookie, but he's still not instantly recognizable to fans. He shot a pair of highly entertaining incognito videos at the tracks.
What about this kid, Joseph Newgarden? He's like a superstar out there. He qualified on the front row today. He's going to go up against Dario Franchitti. What's up with this kid? Anyone heard of him?
I've never heard of him, but good luck.
What about Dario Franchitti?
Oh, amazing.
No one's ever heard of him. Who is this guy? Do you know of him at all?
I don't know.
Never heard of him.
I know Dario.
Dario's great, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen Marco Andretti?
Marco Andretti? I think he's over there.
We'll learn more about Joseph and his team owner, Sarah Fisher, and their relationship coming up in just a little bit. Well, we see some sunshine as it gets set to set here in Iowa. We have been dealing with rain this afternoon, but we still have a chance to be close to on schedule. There's Bo Barfield checking out the drying conditions, hoping to go green shortly after 10 Eastern here at Iowa. Another great aerial here of Iowa cornfields back at Iowa Speedway for the Iowa Corn Indy 250. And next Saturday, the NBC Sports Network begins coverage of the Tour de France, cycling's most prestigious event. Don't miss the opening prologue from Belgium. The Tour de France begins next Saturday at 8 Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Well, we continue the drying process, and we see some gray there in the groove. Still a little bit dark and damp up on the high line. They'll need to work on pit lane at some point, but we're still hoping to go green here coming up in a little more than a half hour as we get set for our scheduled start time of 10 Eastern. Maybe a few minutes late, but we are optimistic that we won't be too far behind. Well, it's the 6th visit for INDYCAR to Iowa, and last year's race was highly entertaining and featured a battle between former teammates. We saw a great battle last year, and Marco Andretti and Tony Kanaan battled to the end, and Marco got a win, the first one since his rookie season back in 2006, and he's been quick here this weekend as well. Let's go now down to Townsend Bell.
Thanks, Kevin. So, Marco, last year, amazing result. You know, you dominated, had a strong car. How would you describe your season, though, so far to date?
That's the question you're going to ask me? Come on, Townsend. We're better friends than that. Horrendous. It's been absolutely horrible. Credit to the team. They've been very quick. We've had some good cars, just a lot of different things go wrong. I'm finally pleased with my street course progress. I think I have a car that's going to be good in Toronto, which I never really looked forward to the street circuits until now. So, but we're here and we're looking to do the same thing we did last year, and that's uplift some of this pressure that we've had, with a winless streak again.
You had a gearing issue in the heat race, right? You're hitting the hard limiter. You're pretty frustrated about that. Barring the gear change, assuming you got that right, do you have the car to do what you did last year again?
I think tonight, obviously there's a couple different aspects that people have to play, and we've never practiced at night, and so we might gain a little front grip. So we're prepared for that. I think if we made the right changes, then yeah, we're going to be tough to beat. But it's like anybody out there right now.
I was trying to pull a little personal info out of you earlier, saying, hey, give me something to talk about outside of racing. You're saying, all I think about is the race car. I said, well, what's it like living in your dad's house? Because you bought your dad's old house, right? He said, well, I used to leave the lights on all the time as a kid. He said, I don't do that anymore because I realized how much money that costs. So anyways, looking for a big night tonight. We're looking for big things from this guy.
He's been quick here so far this weekend, and while Marco Andretti is looking for win number 3, rookie Joseph Newgarden is looking for number 1. His team owner, Sarah Fisher, got her first last year as an owner with Ed Carpenter. Carpenter left to form his own team after the season, and Fisher chose the 21-year-old from Nashville, Tennessee. The team and driver have meshed nicely, and the driver and former driver that's now the boss have also developed a solid relationship.
So we're at the lake house. Today is our day off. And the guys are almost here, getting ready to go out on the water. But Joseph is still sleeping and it's almost noon. Let's go have some fun.
What about 5 more minutes? Is that good?
No, not 5 more minutes. It's noon.
Mom always gave you 5 minutes at home.
I'm not your mama. Let's go. Yeah, you're spoiled.
I am.
Spoiled.
I get the good race car. I get the good spotting.
Really, when you have a good car, I wish I could be in the good car sometimes. So maybe today at the lake we can go out there and compete on the water.
If you're really up to the challenge of going head-to-head on jet skis, then I accept, Sarah.
Let's go do it.
Whenever you want to roll.
Come on.
I got you. Yeah, that's right. Woo! Check out my Honda hot rod right here.
And you got me pretty good a couple times.
No.
I think on a jet ski, Sarah might have the edge.
That's what's important. And now that we did the jet ski thing, Andy's really good at the wakeboarding, so I think he's going to go share that with you.
You think so?
I think it's time for some team bonding.
I don't know how good I am at wakeboarding, though.
Well, it's just a board.
It is just a board, but it takes,
rope.
finesse and skill. It's pretty difficult.
But you have that.
You don't, maybe.
I'm a chicken on the wakeboard.
So you go out in jet skis, but you're not going to get on the wakeboard.
I got to have a motor. Good fun.
Bring it, boss.
Let's go.
I think to come here to the lake and to bond with these guys and to have good, goofy, fun times is something that I never had as a driver. So to be able to bond with these guys and be spontaneous and spray each other with water, run jet skis and, grill out, I think that's something that's definitely going to pay off on.
My first time water skiing. We'll see how it goes. Probably not going to be very good.
He got up on the second try. I was pretty impressed.
Thank you, Andy. You're being far too kind, because I was horrible at that.
You did good.
I'm just glad I know how to drive the race car.
All right, I know how to do it now.
All right, thank God it's not hydroplanes, it's race cars you drive, son. He was just checking himself out. A 4 for style on that getting up on the skis.
That was horrible. It's a good thing I don't do that for a living. I drive a race car for a living. So I'm pretty sure I kept saying that all day, too. I drive the race car, I hope you guys know. This is not my normal job. So yeah, we had a lot of fun, though. I'm really glad that they let us do that activity to kind of show people what our team's like, and we had a lot of fun.
Speaking of what your team's like, it's kind of a throwback, kid. Everybody's kind of a family. You guys hang out together, and you don't see that a lot anymore. And it's kind of neat. They just kind of said, we're going to take a chance on this kid, this American kid, and we're going to see what happens.
It's a very different group. I mean, I don't know what I've done to find the right people in this industry that have just given me a chance, and it's no different with this team. This entire group, like you said, it's a family atmosphere. It's very different than anyone out there, I think, and
Yeah, that's also the kind of the shame about this whole year for us. You know, we've done, I think, a great job. I think everyone on this team has done an amazing job of building fast, reliable race cars, and we just haven't had the results to back that up. But, you know, once we get that going, I think there's going to be a lot of pleased people because there's, you know, everyone knows the people that work in this group, and they're always pulling from them. So, you know, I kind of feel bad as well that we just haven't been able to climb that mountain yet.
But it just seems like first practice session, you guys were second quick, and you guys are quick. Every over, you've been quick. You were in the Fast Six in Long Beach. There's been a lot of good things that happened, and it just having the results is not always your fault.
It's, you know, I think circumstances just have not gone our way, you know, and you don't want to kind of harp on that it's like, oh, we haven't had the breaks and making excuses, but we really haven't. We just have not had things fall in our way, you know, most events. And it can be very little things, too, that people don't even see, and, you know, they don't really see what happens, but it's something that just is hindering us from going to the front or really showing our true potential. So we've had quick cars. There's no doubt about it. I don't think anyone doubts the potential of this team and really the level of this team. They deserve to be here, and they deserve to be at the sharp end, I think. You know, they built really quick cars. We gotta try and finish races. That's all it is. We got to try and get some luck on our side and get everything going our way. And I really think once we get that momentum, that won't stop. I think once we get that final result and, you know, we kind of get a little bit of momentum going, we can carry that on all the way through the end of the year.
Okay, what we really want to know is, since you started your interview process and asked people who Joseph, Joseph, have more people grabbed you lately and said, hey, that's Joseph Newgarden?
I think it's helped. I think it's helped a lot. You know, a lot of people didn't know who I was at the beginning of the season, and they were always asking me, where's Sarah Fisher? You ever seen Sarah Fisher? Where's she at, man? And it was actually making it really easy on me. I didn't have to do anything. I was just like, hey, you guys need to go get Sarah. She's got people to see, and made it really easy on me. So, but now it's like, oh, hey, Joseph, you drive for Sarah. You actually drive the car. It's like, yeah, I do. It's kind of cool.
You're not the bus driver. You're the race driver.
Oh, yeah. So do you wrench on the car? What do you do here? You know, people don't know, but it's fun. It's been a lot. You know, IndyCar fans are some of the best. They really enjoy the sport. You know, I think they just needed to get to know me. No one knew who the heck I was, and I think they're starting to kind of catch on. And certainly, if we get some results, that's not going to hurt either. Then people are really going to start to catch on.
All right, keep your eye on Newgarden, Townsend. That EJ Viso guy says he's going to drive a sprint car. I want to know all about that.
Yeah, I'm going to give my best impression here, Robin, of how this conversation went down with you two. It went something like this. Boy, in 1947, there was a boy named Jose Maldonado from Venezuela that got in a sprint car. Something like that. What's the deal here, EJ? Are you going to get in a sprint car for real?
I think so. I'm excited. I've been always a fan, and I want to race in the dirt a little bit. I think ahead of time there are going to be some free weekends, so I might give it a try. Robin is really pushing for it, so he's my first and number one fan.
Has anybody explained the power to weight ratio in a sprint car?
Yeah, that's what it sounds very exciting about it, about doing wheelies and all of that. I'm looking forward.
All right, let's talk about tonight. You're starting second to last with the engine change. I've been absolutely stoked for you and impressed the way your season's gone so far. It seems like Jimmy and his tutelage, his guidance, it's kind of calmed down the fire within a bit. You're starting to drive like a real seasoned veteran out there. Are you feeling like that in the car, or am I just making things up?
No, I think that's not the only factor. Definitely I give a lot of credit to Jimmy. You know, he's a driver. He was a driver, and he knows what I'm going through in every stage of the race. But at the same time, I need to give a lot of credit to my crew, to my engineering team. Things are really flowing. Things are really clicking. And this is a teamwork, you know, as long as I have a reliable car. And we also finish in the races, except one, we have an issue that it was not team's fault. It was, electronic. Yeah, we've been very strong every single race.
Do you have a car that can get to the front?
I think so. I'm very excited. I started here in 2010, 23rd, and I finished third, so I'm excited about today.
All right, well, good luck tonight, Kevin.
All right, thank you, Townsend. The drying process continues. Fans starting to make their way towards their seats, and we're hoping to go green here a little bit after 10 o'clock Eastern. There's Charlie Kimball. Hope to see him in a fire suit sometime in the very near future, getting set to strap in that car a little later on tonight. Crew still preparing back in the garage area. Everybody checking their watches. How soon? When can we get strapped in? Well, more with Robin Miller coming up in just a moment. Hey, we found some new reporters. Oh, it's Robin with some of his friends. There's a great example for the youth of America, Robin Miller.
The 2012 IZOD INDYCAR Series is green. It's into turn one. He's on the outside. It's Elio Castroneves. And oh, what a way to start the season. Win number 3 at St. Petersburg.
The green flag is out from Barber Motorsports Park. Will Power was able to pass Scott Dixon, and he takes the checkered flag to win the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama.
And we're racing on the streets of Long Beach, California.
Start 12th and win the 38th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Here we go in the Sao Paulo Indy 300.
A three-peat for Will Power on the streets of Sao Paulo, Brazil. And the Indianapolis 500 is on. Side by side, Solo spins, he hit the wall. Dario Franchitti becomes a 3-time winner.
Green flag is not out yet. Now it is. Scott Dixon is going to win in Detroit.
The green flag is waving. Here we go. Oh, he hit the wall. Justin Wilson takes the inside and passes Ray Hall for the lead. Justin Wilson wins at Texas.
The green flag will wave. We are racing. The Milwaukee Indy Fest is underway. Ryan Hunter-Reay slipped by Elio Castroneves. Ryan Hunter-Reay will come across the line. He will be a 2-time winner at the Milwaukee Mile.
And that's from last week at Milwaukee. A good recap of the season at the midway point, and what a beautiful sunset here in Iowa. Just a little bit east of Des Moines, Iowa Speedway, Newton, Iowa. The sun about to set. The good thing is it's not raining. The track is drying, and we are going to go racing a little bit later on tonight. I'm Kevin Lee. We're in the booth for IndyCar Central presented by Verizon tonight because of the weather. Tommy Kendall and Jan Bikas rejoin us. All right, let's give our mid-season report. Brand new car this year, Tommy, and I think by all accounts it has raced very well on road, street, and ovals.
Well, they say the sport needs stars. The car really is a star. It's been spectacular, mainly because it's difficult to get a handle on. And when you're doing analysis and prediction and looking forward, you look for patterns. And my pattern recognition software is either broken or it's so unpredictable that I can't generate one. It's not just drivers, it's not teams. There's no pattern that I can latch onto. It's made for great racing. You got guys start a race well. It used to be the fast guys. You're like 90% you could pick the winner at the start. I wouldn't put any money on anything. I've got ideas and people I like, but it's been a great season, a little bit of everything.
Jan, your impression so far?
Well, Kevin, I think for me it's been a season of surprises. To kind of go further on your point there, Tommy, is that let's say our first race on NBC Sports was at Barber Motorsports Park. You're thinking, well, with new defending rules, I'm thinking, man, there's not going to be any passing. Well, there was heaps of passing because that was an abrasive surface, the tires wore, and all of a sudden we had something we hadn't seen for a long time. Then the Indianapolis 500, that wasn't a tire issue. That was the fact that what happened was these cars punched such a big hole in the air that you could get that big slipstream, and that was an awesome race. And then, of course, we all were thinking about Texas. What's going to happen? You have to reinvent what's going to happen. Will it be pack racing? Can they lower the downforce to the point to where you can have something that's going to be good? Well, it was a barn burner. I mean, they have light downforce. The cars are working through the corners. You heard Justin Wilson say a few minutes ago, it just put the driver back into it. I had to lift, I had to gather it up, and we should see a whole lot of that tonight.
And can't wait to see how the championship develops here in the second half of the season. Will Power leading James Hinchcliffe. Don't count out Dario Franchitti and 769 back. He still might have a chance to work his way back up in the mix before we're done. All right, let's head downstairs now. Not really a traditional grid run because of the circumstances, but we've still got plenty of people to talk with, and we'll start with Robin Miller.
Okay, Simone Pagenaud has had one of the greatest seasons. He's 6th in the points on a single-car team. He's got 2 podiums. But his best story is what he did at Texas with his helmet and his knee and his head. Go.
Well, you know, I'm obviously a rookie on the oval, so it was actually a very stressful moment. Probably the most stressful moment in my career because we start the race. This is my earplugs. They go obviously in my ear. We plug this, and then I have communication with the pit box. And as I leave the pit box on the formation lap, Robert was talking to me and tells me what to do with the car and how many time by we're going to go. Well, as I go on the banking, I have no communication whatsoever with anyone. And it's like being by yourself in the middle of an arena with no communication with anyone. So it's very stressful. So I try to figure out what's happening. You know, I'm obviously trying to check. You know, I'm worried it's my helmet. I'm worried I've got a problem with this connector, which I can't reach. So I'm thinking, okay, let's take step by step what could be wrong. So check this, it was connected. Check that, and it was disconnected. But then where did it go? That's the problem with gloves. You can't feel anything. So I took my gloves off, and I started to reach this, which was falling on my lap.
I reached it. It was full of tape because we usually tape it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you got to see that. And I'm driving the car with my knee, which is very difficult with an oval car. You see, I can see my knee behind the steering because the car wants to turn left, so it's an oval car. It's very difficult to keep it straight in the straight line with a knee. And then I replugged basically this plug to my helmet and taped it back over. Put my helmet, my gloves back on, and it was the race starts.
So besides being a sports car champion and a rally driver, you're now like a hell driver, a thrill driver. You can jump over ramps and go through fiery crosses and stuff.
I actually love to do that, but it just tells you, don't text and drive, man. you can't do two things when you drive.
Don't text and drive, kiddies. You heard that. One thing I want to say is that this is, everybody says, oh, one-car team's tough and all that, but you've worked really good with your engineer, Ben, from your sports car days, and Sam's given you guys everything you needed. Honda's been a big supporter. You really are making a good argument that a one-car team can be successful.
Yeah, I mean, the team is doing a great job. It's a very good environment for me. Everybody's putting behind me. Everybody has a lot of trust in my feedback, and Ben is obviously, he never doubt me, which is very important for my confidence level, and I never doubt whatever he does on the race car. So it's very important for both of us just feel that trust between each other. And, when he said at Milwaukee it's going to be flat in quali, I went out and went flat. So this is just a testament to this relationship. I think this weekend we're struggling a little bit. A teammate would be very useful. But I think, as a one-car team, it's pretty stellar what they're doing.
All right, well, keep up the good work, kid. Townsend Bell, we're going to you, brother.
Thanks, Robin. Hanging out here with Charlie Kimball. If you guys think it's stressful having to adjust your radio, imagine checking your blood sugar as you're driving all the time. Charlie, I know, spokesperson for diabetes and your sponsor. Now, tell me, you met the president or something earlier this week, got a gold star. What was that all about?
Well, I was a recipient of the Jefferson Award. It's an award for community service and community outreach. So it was really neat to be able to represent INDYCAR and open-wheeled racing in such a national forum like that for my work in the diabetes community.
I got to see it firsthand yesterday. I was out there walking around, and you guys have the little activation tent for Novo out there. You were signing autographs. It was so cool to see people come through with your jerseys on. I mean, you're a real hero for people that are suffering from diabetes.
Well, it's really neat to hear their stories. A lot of the stories they tell me inspire me when I'm in the race car. I met a gentleman just recently who's had diabetes for 65 years, and he was out here walking around enjoying the race. So it was really neat to be able to tell my story, hear their story, and still get in the race car and go fast.
All right, let's talk about racing a little bit. You've struggled a bit in the last two events. You were great at Indy. I finished just behind you. You did a great job there. What's going on tonight? You got something you think that can compete with your teammates?
Yeah, I think we got a really good car for this evening. We rebuilding some momentum after the last two events. Tonight's race is going to be a difficult one. It's hard with a little less downforce, but I think the third heat last night showed that guys can run the second lane. That's where you got to be to pass tonight.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Robin, you're hanging out with his teammate.
Graham won the heat race, but he had a really fast car in Texas. Do you think, can you come from the back to the front in this thing?
Yeah, I mean, we can, of course. It's going to be a challenge. I think the hardest thing for us is simply to get by enough guys to not go a lap down early. That's probably going to be our biggest challenge. Obviously, in the car or in the heat race, everybody saw how fast the car is. So I think the MTB Service Central guys will be able to move forward. It's just how quickly can we get there? And I mean, in 30 laps, I almost lapped Sato, who was 8th in our field. And now you put 3 times that many cars on the track. I think the leader's going to come up to the back pretty quick, so we got to go forward fast.
Do you think the drivers are going to get together after the season and say, let's vote on this 10-spot penalty next year? Formula One's only 5 places. Maybe make it not so severe?
Yeah, I mean, it hurts a lot for us, and we've had this penalty a couple times this year, but, we just needed to have the newest spec engine, which is what we've been running the last several races. But, unfortunately, this is the price we pay. Next year, it should be like 5 spots or, something that is still a penalty, but it doesn't kill you. And, certainly in our case, if we were starting in that top 8, I think we'd be tough to beat tonight. So, we've got some work to do.
All right, get dressed and have a good race, kid. Thanks for your time. Townsend Bell, back to you, buddy.
Thanks, Robin. Standing here with JR. We just caught up with him. So let's talk first about cars, because we were talking about 65 Riviera earlier. What's that all about?
No, man, I think they're rad. You know, I definitely, I grew up around kind of 60s muscle cars. My dad, he had a 68 Camaro that was a Trans Am race car, actually, from when it was new. So I grew up around that era, and we're always kind of hunting around for a project car here and there. So
You grew up in 65?
I didn't grow up then. I did grow up around those cars. You know, I mean, I grew up around vintage racing kind of before I, as I got older, kind of saw all the rest of it. So that's definitely a little bit in my blood.
All right, let's talk a little racing now. I know the guy you drive for, JB, Big JB. Not very patient back in the old days. He seems a lot more patient now. He's got a lot of faith in you. You know, he said great things over the last year and a half since you've been with this team. You're at a point now where, you're midway through your second year. Are you starting to feel some of that expectation? Do you put some of that on yourself as well to step up and go out and try to win one of these now?
Yeah, I mean, we're here to win. Absolutely. I mean, I feel like it's on me to get Panther Racing back in the winner's circle. They've been close a lot of times over the last 4 or 5 years, and we've come close a couple of times. And to be honest with you, this is a track last year that I think we sort of had a shot at it if things had gone a little bit differently for us. We had a wicked fast race car around this place. So, this is definitely a place that we look forward to, and hopefully we can get out there and get it done today.
Having been here, once before and raced in Indy Lights now on ovals, do you feel like you've come here and know exactly what you want to feel, or is this new format thrown things totally into the wild again?
No, I mean, that's a big piece of it. You come back to these places, especially on the ovals, and you really... Every car, you got to kind of have that same security, but you got to know that things are going to be there at the end of a run, too, And so I think that's something this year that we've been able to just dive right in, despite the fact that the car and engine are different.
How's the relationship with Oriole and the Dreyer Reinbold guys working out?
It's been good, man. I mean, all these races have been jammed together so tight. I think that it's been a little bit tough to really be firing on all cylinders, just because nobody's gotten a chance to really settle down and look through things and figure it all out. But it's awesome having Oriole around, and that's a great group of guys.
You going high at the start?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we'll definitely be dusting it off on the high side here.
All right, up there working the cushion's going to be J.R. Hildenbrand. Back to you guys.
Thanks, guys.
I'm talking to this guy says he's a rookie. He's 39 years old. I think he's lying about his age. He just turned 40. That's right. Mr. Barrichello, you've had 3 good races in a row on ovals. Starting pretty good tonight. What are you expecting?
Well, it's a new thing all along again to me. Yesterday, the 30 laps teach me something, which was positive. Let's see if the setup is good enough for tonight's race.
Do you find yourself starting to lean on people more? You picked out the guys you can trust and the guys you can't?
Oh, you definitely know that by now. There's a lot more that you can learn from people, from friends, not so much friends. But I tell you, this oval is such a different experience running outside. When you're a rookie, it just looks like the track just go whoop, narrow down, because it's you feel like you can only have a line, but then you learn from this guys that you can go outside.
Now, what I want to know is, he went home and watched the Milwaukee race to see how he was doing. You came from the back to finish in the top 5. Do you go home and watch those races and smile, or what do you do?
I cannot reveal my secrets just like that. I mean, this guy has way too much experience and knowledge. We have to be very careful what we teach him. He's already doing too well.
Oriole Servi he's passed more cars than anybody. Barrichello's trying to learn from him. We'll go back to you guys, because these guys got to be introduced and jump over these tires, which is an Olympic event here at Iowa.
And that's great to see drivers suiting up, and we are getting closer to ready to go. There's Chip Ganassi. He's got several possibilities here tonight. Cars are being gridded, and we should go racing here in the next little while tonight. A little bit delayed, but we are going to race at Iowa Speedway. Stay tuned. Bob Jenkins takes over in just a moment. This is IndyCar Central, presented by Verizon.
IndyCar Central on NBC Sports Network is presented by Verizon, official wireless partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series. Pace begins to quicken as the fans have come from below the grandstand, where they were protected from the rain, into their seats. And the pace on pit road is picking up substantially now as the mechanics and the teams get set to get their drivers into the cars and the race underway. We are told that the green flag hopefully now is going to be displayed at around 9:30, just about a half hour from now. The track is drying slowly, and we hope that the entire track and pit lane is dried in just a few moments. Let's go down to Townsend Bell.
Thanks, Bob. You know what I love about this guy? He's just kind of a sleeper for me. I don't know. Last time I was paying attention to you was like Indy Lights, it seems, and all of a sudden I look down at my little wristband here. Championship is second in points. How you pull that off?
You know, under the radar, man. That's the way we've been doing it. It's just been consistent. We've been thereabouts. You know, we've been sort of top 6 qualifying races, and we've just had a lot of good finishes. You know, it's big credit to the team. The car's been strong. Guys been good in the pits.
So I think we talked about this a little bit earlier. There's a hardcore fan website. You know, they're doing a poll on hottest arm candy in the paddock, and you're right up there in the running. Tell me a little bit about how one might train somebody for that experience. I mean, let's just say somebody had a girlfriend and they were a racing driver and you wanted to kind of break them in on how to be an IndyCar girlfriend or wife. How would you go about that process?
And I'll tell you what, the toughest job in racing is dating a racing driver. And any of the wives or girlfriends will tell you it is a hard gig keeping up with us, putting up with us, and they're all saints, each and every single one of them. So no, I'm pretty lucky. There's a lot of guys in this paddock in the same sort of situation too. And actually, just one thing real quick. One of my guys, Craig, had surgery yesterday. I just want to give him a shout out. We're racing for you today, buddy. Hope we can pull off a good one.
Let's talk about tonight. You're going to be starting pretty well. You got a good car. Is this the kind of track that you think really caters to your team, your situation, and you as a driver?
What's been so cool about this year, man, is we've been so consistent everywhere. You know, we've been quick on road courses, street courses, short ovals, super speedways. So almost any track's a good shot for us to maybe get that first win or get back on the podium.
So you've been all about like championship management so far, right? Like getting the finishes you get, nice consistent runs. Do you think like I just want to win one and kind of just throw caution to the wind and go for it, or are you still in management mode?
Well, I mean, we haven't been conservative by any stretch. You know what? We're out there. We're trying to win races. We really are. But at the same time, I mean, I need experience. I know this is only my second year. It's my first full season because last year we didn't even do a full year. And so I'm trying to get out there, race against the Darios and the Wills and the Scotts, get some experience running up front with these guys, see sort of how the flow of the race goes from the front, and then, take that opportunity when it presents itself.
You got awfully close last night with Ryan Briscoe out there. Talk us through that a little bit. I mean, it's hard for people at home to appreciate exactly how the car's moving around. What happened from your perspective when you got all choked up with him?
Well, into the last corner, starting the last lap, corner 1 there, I've been having a big understeer off of turn 2. This is turn 4. This is earlier in the race. And on the last lap, I went in trying to defend and got a big push right as apparently he was trying to go to the outside. My spotter starts screaming outside. I try to back out of it, and we got a little bit close there. So it was my bad. My car wasn't handling great, and I went up and apologized to him. And we talked about it. You can tell when a guy's driving you up to the wall and when a guy's just complete passenger heading up to the wall on his own, and he knew which one it was. So thanks to Ryan for that one, and I owe him one tonight for sure.
All right, well, good luck tonight, Robin.
Well, first of all, the reason Hinchcliffe started driving race cars and wearing Nomex was to pick up women. So don't let him tell you anything else. It ain't about competition. It's about picking up Canadian women. Now, we got that story out of the way, Randall. Randy Bernard, the INDYCAR CEO. Fireworks. Here's what I wonder, Randy. If people are having a drought in their city, they should just probably schedule an INDYCAR oval race.
I tell you, I think the best investment of the year was the Iowa corn growers. I mean, they couldn't get rain here. All they have to do is bring INDYCAR here, and it rains.
All right, everybody's talking about the 16th race. We've got to have a 16th race. It's got to be at Elkhart Lake. You haven't made a decision yet. Does that look like the one, maybe the only candidate to do it, and what are the plan right now?
No, there's been other candidates too. I know MIS is really interested, but I think that what we're doing right now is we're going back and talking to all our partners, especially our sponsors, and saying, hey, what is important to you? Is a 16th race real important? And all of them have come back with the one fact of, hey, if it's not a race that's going to be there for the future, let's not do it. Let's hold off and do something next year. And I think it makes good sense. So what we're doing is talking to team owners, our television partners, and just really trying to evaluate what the best thing going forward is.
You think it'd be better just to stay with 15 and not rush it and throw one together as opposed to just making sure you had 16 races?
Yeah, like I told you that a little while ago. I think that if we rush a race and we have it and it's unsuccessful, it's a black eye, and we don't have much time, so it might be in our best interest to definitely wait and do it next year. And I'm not ruling it out yet, but I think what's real important is that we really try to focus on what's in the best interest of INDYCAR and the Eyes on INDYCAR series.
All right, thanks, Randall. Townsend, to you and Willie Boy Power.
Yeah. Slick Willie P just got a wet willie from James Hinchcliffe. Will, saw you last night at dinner, I think. I was with TK, and everybody was blown away. They said the only thing you ever eat the night before a race is sushi and Burger King. What's the deal? You were like a different kind of like an American fusion cuisine.
I thought I'd go Italian, man. Get some pasta, get some of the carbohydrates. But yeah, you can't really pass up McDonald's like a quarter-pounder meal deal.
You're leading the points. You've had a pretty solid season so far. A couple of little hiccups here the last few weeks, but overall it's been going, pretty well. Are you at the point now in the season where you start managing your championship runs? Or are you just thinking about one race at a time?
No, I still think it's one race at a time. You start looking backwards, man, it's all bad. I think you just got to be on the attack, and just take every race, every lap, every pit stop as it comes, and try not to make a mistake while doing it.
Yeah. Well, with Hinch standing here in the background and, you just kind of eyes in the back of your head, does that mess with your concentration at all?
No. But he's got. I'm behind him. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him this time on the start.
All right, listen, tell me about your car for a second, about this track. I mean, this is a new format. At Texas, you seem to really like the challenge there. The challenge is much different than it's been in years past. No more pack racing, all that kind of stuff. You like what we're doing here?
Yeah, I mean, they took some downforce out. It's definitely still an unbelievable speed in the corner. I think with these cool conditions, people won't be lifting quite as much, but I just hope the two lanes open up, and that will make good racing and a lot of passing.
All right, last question. You're in charge of IndyCar for one day. How much horsepower do you magically assign to these cars?
900.
Good man. All right, fellas. He wants the power. It's willpower.
Driver intros are underway down on the stage on pit lane. Tony Kanaan just been introduced to the crowd. He'll go now to his car and get the helmet on and get ready to race here. 250 laps of competition coming up. Probably don't get to see this very much, you at home, but this is something that occurs, of course, before every race. Every driver is introduced to the crowd. They can salute them, and the crowd can give them a round of applause just before they get into their cars. As you can see, the skies overhead don't look all that great, but hopefully we have seen the last of the rain, and we can get this race in here tonight. It's 250 laps. It's not going to take long to run, so we only need about an hour and a half or a little bit more to get this race completely in. Justin Wilson has just been introduced to the crowd. There, of course, is Charlie Kimball coming down off of the platform, congratulating and shaking hands with many of the officials of the Iowa Corn Growers who have continued to sponsor this race here at Iowa for many years. And it's just a great thing for them, and it's a great thing for us to come here and be treated to some very great hospitality from the state of Iowa. Rubens Barrichello just been introduced. He goes down off of the stage. Barrichello is 16th in the point standings going into this race. He did not start in one of the races at Texas. There is Joseph Newgarden. We just talked to Joseph not too long ago. He's 23rd in the point standings in his rookie year. He won the Firestone Indy Lights race at this facility last year. So he has been in victory lane before here. Hopes to do it in the IZOD INDYCAR series tonight. Graham Rahal scurries away. Mike Conway, the driver for A.J. Foyt Racing. Conway will start tonight in the 17th position. Ryan Hunter-Reay coming off his victory at Milwaukee last Saturday. Scott Dixon being introduced. He will start in 8th position tonight and is 3rd in the points, 35 behind the points leader, Will Power. Well, thanks for joining us for IndyCar Central, presented by Verizon. Opening ceremonies are coming up as we get closer and closer to the start of tonight's Iowa Corn Indy 250 from Iowa Speedway.
Iowa's a very unique circuit.
It's like a little bull ring.
It's a fast little track. You're slicing and dicing, you're upshifting, downshifting, foot to the floor.
It can bite you just as quick as you give it to it.
I love racing there.
It's a fun time. Very cool people at Iowa. They pack the stands. It's always sold out.
Definitely a cool event and a lot of fun to race there.
Welcome back to Iowa Speedway. Drivers have been introduced, and we're getting very close now to the Command 2 start engines. Well, coming on July 27th, the London Olympics are on NBC and the NBC Sports Network. Your home for the most compelling U.S. teams all day, every day. The London Olympic Games coming July 27th to NBC and the NBC Sports Network. As we wait the opening ceremonies, we'll go down to Townsend Bell.
Thanks, Bob. Standing here with John Barnes, CEO of Panther Racing. I thought it was only fair, JB. Earlier, I was beating up on your driver, JR, a little bit, saying, look, I drove for JB. He wasn't very patient back then, but he seems a lot more patient now. How much time are you going to give this kid to win?
I think he's doing an incredible job. You know, I was just talking to somebody about that. You know, when he does, he measures everything. You know, it reminds me so much of Mark Donohue when I used to watch him run, you know, and when he first started in our industry. And Jared, you know, he takes you know, I think a very analytical approach to these things. And I think that's the way you sustain in this business nowadays. You know, it's so much different than it was 15 years ago. And so it's all about balls and bravery. Now you got to think ahead of the car. And you know, I mean, you're a great driver in this series. And to win in this series, you got to be prepared to prepare. And I think he really does a good job at that.
We talked yesterday about something you're very passionate about, the Hiring Heroes program with the National Guard. And as I've watched you over the last few years, the amount of time that you've invested in not just a sponsor, but really something that goes a lot further beyond that. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, you know, I've been racing IndyCars for 44 years, and until we partnered with him in 2008, it was all about winning and all about racing. And nowadays, you know, that's part of why we're here. But most importantly, it's trying to figure out ways that we can use our platform and our footprint to support them and their families. And the Hiring Heroes program does that. You know, it's that and joining forces as well. Just incredible programs that do so much for our soldiers and their families. And, you know, we as Americans, we've been living off their back for a long time. It's time that we turn that around.
How do you feel about your National Guard car's chances tonight?
I think we'll see. You know me, I don't like to give any hopes. But I think, you know, the car's good. He's good. The team's done great all year long. We've had a lot of issues, just small things that have taken us out of places that we had great chances for finishes. But, you know, it's a good night.
That's Panther Racing. Thanks, JB. Good luck tonight. Robin?
Rusty Wallace, I don't know, crystal ball, whatever it was, you picked this place out to build a racetrack. And the first year was kind of a parade, and the last 4 or 5 have been some of the best racing we've ever seen on the IndyCar circuit. How did it happen, and are you proud of what you did?
I'm really proud of the thing. I appreciate you saying it, some kind words, but I got a phone call out of Clear Blue one time. They wanted me to design the track, and I said, hey, man, it's not like golf. You just don't pop out and do this. And they said, we're going to build a short track, right? And the guy said, yeah. I said, well, who won the most short track races in NASCAR? They said, that's Rusty Wallace. And the guy says, hire him. So that's how it happened. Found a great location right here, right on Interstate 80. The airport's right behind us. And whether you know it or not, the hillside behind us was already there. And it was so easy to put the grandstands in and give everybody kind of an elevated looking amphitheater feel to look down and everything. And the fans here in Iowa has just been here selling this place out all the time. They've been fantastic to us.
You, Rusty, when you finally got the track drawn up and then they laid all the pavement and everything, did you take some laps yourself in a stock car? Or?
Well, what happened, Robin, actually, the track was designed to be a 12 and a 14-degree banking angle. And when I talked to Brian Barnhart, he said, Rusty, I'm concerned that maybe that's too much angle for the Indy cars. So we went 12, 13, and 14 to accommodate everybody, and it worked out good. Well, as we were carving the track out, I kept running the dirt, and then we would pave it, and I would run it again. I ran it like 5 different times, and we kept sculpting it and carving on it, Robin, to get it just right. And I got to tell you, we laid it out in the CAD cam, and after we did that, it looked terrible driving it, but we fixed it.
The other thing is and I'm not speaking for anybody, but people said, oh, we're in the middle of nowhere in Iowa. But every time we come here, we see lots of IndyCar T-shirts, and the fans, they stop Randy Bernard, they stop mechanics, they know who everybody is. The passion here, I'm sure it's like that for the NASCAR race too, but this is one of the best IndyCar crowds.
Well, it is, and I appreciate you saying that. And we love you guys being here. The folks here in Iowa love IndyCar. IndyCar was our big inaugural race, and they put on such a great race. But we felt bad the very first race because we had rain, we had mud, we had all this mess. We fixed everything since then, and now the traffic is rolling perfect. We're putting on great races. I remember when IndyCar came here for the first time, they had too much downforce, drove around the bottom of the racetrack, and I'm going, hey, man, what's going on? This track is designed to run 3 wide, and so they fixed that too.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see 2 wide racing tonight. and we appreciate you having us here because I tell you what, this has become one of the best stops on the thing. Kevin Lee has got his clothes changed, I understand. He's in a driver's suit. He's starting 26th.
9 minutes tonight, Robin. I'm going to try to improve on that next week. We got Tony Kanaan here who won one of the heat races, but the penalty for the early engine change means he's starting near the back. You've had great success here. Won a couple of years ago, second last year. What kind of chance do you have to race through tonight?
If the weather holds up, I think we have a pretty good chance. We did a great job working with the setup of the car. We had a great hit race, like you said, but it's going to be a long night. A lot of cars to pass, and it's not going to be as easy as it was that fast, but I'm looking forward for our first win. I think we have a chance.
What did you learn from that heat race that might transfer and apply tonight?
We're going to have to save our tires. We're going to have to save the tires a lot because of, the track's green, the tires been holding up, but if you want to have a consistent car through the run, you're going to have to watch it after 30 laps. What are you going to do?
All right, a night race, you have to wait all day anyway. Now you have to wait a little bit longer. How antsy does everybody get?
When I've been doing this for too long, Kevin, I don't think I'm that antsy. I think whenever the green flag drops, we'll go. And, I feel bad for the fans, but it's amazing how many people are here today. I love it. I just love it to be here. I love this racetrack. And thank for you guys in the booth. You guys kept me entertained during the rain delay for sure. I was watching the heat races and all the features on New Garden and the stuff. So we'll see.
We appreciate that. You may have seen your team in EJ Viso talking about racing a sprint car on dirt. You can give him some pointers there, right?
Definitely. That's, Robin is the biggest advocate for that. So he's actually requiring every single IndyCar driver to do it once. And I think it's great. I have a blast every year when I go to Eldora. So I might come join EJ and Robin when he's going to go run.
Sliding is acceptable on dirt. Sliding here tonight, no good.
No, not at all. But, you can put with a little bit of sliding, I think. And if we can put up with it, the stuff that I learned in Eldora, we definitely will have an advantage.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Tony Kanaan will roll off 19th, Bob.
And he is 8th in points as we come into this race here at Iowa Speedway. We are still awaiting the command to start engines and a few more wet spots to be dealt with, especially down on pit lane. And that, of course, has to be completely dry, as does the racing surface itself. So the crowd is here, as you can see in the grandstand. They have weathered the storm, hopefully, and there will be no more. They are set for some racing, and so are we. We appreciate you hanging with us because we are as anxious as anybody to get this race underway here this evening. Cars are on pit lane. Not yet in them, but they will be very, very soon. Well, in 2008, our friend Dan Weldon won the race here at Iowa Speedway, and we go down for the opening ceremonies in remembrance of Dan Weldon.
Would everyone please bow your heads as we remember a larger-than-life man, a loving father and devoted husband, a dear friend, a man who truly loved the fans here at Iowa Speedway, and the champion of the 2008 Iowa Corn Indy 250, Dan Weldon. Dan will always be remembered in the hearts of Iowans, and especially in the hearts of the Iowa Speedway race fans. And now, race fans, if you all please rise for the invocation offered tonight by Mr. Mike Householder.
Let us pray. Gracious Lord God, we praise you for surrounding us with this beautiful land called Iowa. We thank you on this afternoon for the much-needed rain on behalf of Iowa farmers and on behalf of race fans everywhere. We thank you for giving it a rest tonight. Gathered here tonight at this particular Field of Dreams, we thank you, God, for the vision you gave to a few to build this stadium so that people would come by the tens of thousands to enjoy world-class racing, to take a well-deserved break from work, and strengthen bonds of love with good friends and family. For we know that life is always best when love wins the day. We thank you, Lord, for the inspiring talent you've given to all of the drivers and the poetic teamwork of their teams and their crews. Keep them and all of us safe tonight. No matter who crosses the finish line first, remind us, God, that you have won the ultimate and final victory through the death and resurrection of your Son, offering your amazing grace and eternal love for us and for all, through the one who is, who was, and always will be, the Savior of the world. And so we pray as we live in Jesus' name, with grateful hearts wide open to you. Amen.
Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the Iowa National Guard. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Is here to sing our national anthem from Iowa Corn, Mindy Larson-Poldberg.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And the fireworks go off. 25 drivers now make their way to their cars. They're going to strap in and get set for 250 laps of racing on this 7/8 of a mile oval at Iowa Speedway. Stay with us. The start of summer signals the halfway point for the IZOD INDYCAR Series. A time when the drivers find themselves at the end of their longest oval stretch. Indianapolis set the tempo for the first of four, where Dario Franchitti held off a late pass for the lead.
Will he make the move? No, he'll crash in turn number one. Dario Franchitti is about to become a three-time winner.
Unfortunately for Graham Rahal, the result was not the same in Texas.
Oh, he hit the wall. He hit the wall. Unbelievable.
Justin Wilson wins at Texas. And Milwaukee saw the sixth different winner this year, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, his sixth career win and second win in Milwaukee.
But now the drivers find a tighter challenge awaiting on the shortest track of the season, Iowa Speedway. At 7/8 of a mile, this bull ring was made for fast-paced wheel-to-wheel action. Welcome to Saturday night under the lights. Welcome to Iowa. If you would have asked me 2 hours ago if we were going to race here tonight, I would have said no, because it rained and it rained hard. But the track is dry and we are ready to go here in the Iowa Corn Indy 250. Drivers getting suited up and in their cars. Dario has not yet put on the helmet. We're in a little bit of a delay here while some spots are being dried. Robin Miller is with Catherine Legg, who has her best start of the year tonight.
Catherine, your best start, and it's no coincidence that you got to finally test a car here.
I think Milwaukee was one place better. So it is no coincidence, though. The last couple of races have been since the test. So we're really happy that everything's kind of going in the right direction with the TrueCar racing team. It's just, you know, we had a plan. It got a bit derailed at the beginning of the year with Lotus. But now, yeah, everything's positive and everything's on course, and it's, you know, it's a long-term thing. So as long as we keep improving and we get a good finish here tonight, then I think everybody's happy.
You made some good passes in the heat race yesterday, and you think you can work 2 grooves in it? You look pretty comfortable up high.
I think when the tires are new, you can run 2 grooves for maybe 3 laps. And then after that, it's going to be who can hold on to their car for the longest, because trust me, after about 30, 40 laps here, you're hanging on for dear life, literally.
All right, well, go get ready, and thanks for your time. Townsend?
Thanks, Robin. I'm standing down here at the back of the grid with Takuma Sato's car. He's getting into the car. I talked to him just before he got in. This is a race he needs to finish. He's had 4 for 4 crashes, some of them on his own. He had the situation at Indy. It's going to be really fascinating tonight for me to watch how he manages getting to the end of this race. I was at the autograph session earlier. He's got so many fans that come up to him, pat him on the back, and are like, yeah, man, that was awesome. Go for it. You know, you can do it. At the same time, he's got a team owner, Bobby, who I haven't talked to, but I know he's thinking, man, we just need to finish. We've racked up a lot of crash damage, and we just got to get to the end. I'm fascinated to see how he balances the 2 ends of those spectrum. The fan support that he's got going and that's growing, and his owner's concern. Interesting tonight, one change they've made. There's Bobby Rahal up on the spotter stand. He'll be looking down, spotting for Takuma the first time this season, the first time they've ever done that. And having that expertise, I liken it a lot to a Jimmy Vasser and an EJ Vizo situation, trying to calm things down, get to the end, and just do base hits. I'm not sure if base hits is part of the Japanese vocabulary. I know the sport is popular over there, but that's what these guys need tonight.
Townsend, good job down there along with Robin and Kevin, as we've had some time to fill here, but hopefully for not much longer. Up in the booth here, I'm Bob Jenkins with my booth mates, Jan Beekes and Tommy Kendall, and I mentioned a little bit earlier how it wasn't going to take long to run this race, 250 laps. As a matter of fact, they will be turning 3 laps every minute.
More than 3 laps a minute. You know, qualifying was in the 16-second range. And you think about that, to put it in perspective for everyday life, a mile at 60 miles an hour takes a minute, 60 seconds. We're going around a 7/8 mile track, a tight bull ring at 180 mile per hour average speed. And you think things come at you quick in your daily life when you get in a jam. Well, they've got to deal with that. It's hard to find enough time to take your hand off the wheel to make an adjustment. Pagano said, you know, he had to get his ears unplugged. You don't have a prayer to do anything. I heard a story, Oriol Servia, when he just started driving for Newman Haas, they hadn't gone over some of all this stuff, and there was a race, and they were trying to tell him where to make an adjustment, but they hadn't gone over beforehand where it was. They said it took him 30 laps to get him to find the switch to make this slight adjustment. So things are coming at you quickly, no time to breathe, and so it's going to be coming at him quick. I can't wait to see what transpires.
And Tommy, what also comes quickly is what the engineers have to do tonight, and that is, because of the changing conditions, an engineer's job is really to hit a bullseye on the setup. But the problem is the target is moving because the weather conditions are changing. You've seen it's rained, it's washed away that rubber. So if you look at a Penske team like a Ryan Briscoe there, and some of the other engineers who are going to make these calls tonight, if you're Andretti, Penske, or Ganassi, yeah, they have more darts to throw, but there's no reason a team like Justin Wilson, someone who has won these races before, if an engineer hits it right and can keep these tires underneath the cars, that's the whole key. As the tires wear, you need your car to be good. That is a tough assignment for an engineer, and if you get it right, you'll be in victor's circle.
Well, we'll see how it goes. 25 drivers now strapped in, and let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's race. In row number 1, Dario Franchitti and Elio Castroneves. Dario won, of course, the qualifying race yesterday. Marco Andretti and James Hinchcliffe will be in row number 2. Row 3 will consist of Ryan Briscoe and the current points leader by 31, Will Power. Row number 4, Ryan Hunter-Reay, last week's winner at Milwaukee, and Scott Dixon, who is 3rd in the point standings. The 5th row, Alex Tagliani and Joseph Newgarden, the rookie. Rubens Barrichello, the veteran, especially of Formula One, and J.R. Hildebrand, sophomore driver, go in row number 6. In the 7th row, Justin Wilson, the winner at Texas, and Charlie Kimball. Starting in row number 8, Oriole Serbia and Catherine Legg, with whom we just spoke. In the 9th row for tonight's race, Mike Conway and James Jakes, Justin Wilson's teammate for Dale Coyne. Tony Kanaan, because of the penalty, 10-position penalty, will start on the inside of row number 10, and Graham Rahal, who won the first heat race last night, will start in the outside position on row number 10. 11th row, Ed Carpenter and Simona De Silvestro. In row number 12, it's Takuma Sato and E.J. Biso. Biso also taking the 10-position penalty. And all alone in the 13th row will be Simon Pagenaud. That's your starting lineup. The command will be as soon as we get back from Iowa Speedway. Stay with us for the Iowa Corn Indy 250. Nice aerial shot of Iowa Speedway, Newton, Iowa. The Iowa Corn Indy 250 is just moments away here. Heavy, heavy rain about 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock Eastern, or rather local time. We're in the central time zone here. But at the moment, it's 69 degrees, high humidity of 91%, winds from the southeast at 10 miles an hour, and it is cloudy, but only a 30% chance of rain now throughout the next 2 hours. All right, Will Power still has the points lead entering this 9th race of the year. James Hinchcliffe only behind by 31, and Scott Dixon only behind by 35. Ryan Hunter-Reay moves up because of his win at Milwaukee last week to 4th in the point standings. Elio Castroneves very close by in 5th position. Simon Pagenaud, who will start at the rear of tonight's race, is 6th in the point standings. Defending series champion Dario Franchitti, 68 points behind in 7th spot. Then Tony Kanaan in 8th, Ryan Briscoe 9th in the point standings, and 10th is Oriole Serbia. Iowa Speedway, 7/8 of a mile. The banking is 12 to 14 degrees. So there's definitely an opportunity for the drivers to race side by side through the corners. All right, it's the moment that we have been waiting for. Let's go downstairs.
Ladies and gentlemen, now for the most famous words in motorsports, a custom that originated at the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500. The president of the Iowa Corn Growers Association, Mr. Kevin Ross, along with Colin Applegate and Nick Rogers.
Drivers, start your engines!
About 40 minutes late in getting started, but we are ready to go. And let's hope that the rain stays away for the next few minutes. And we see Townsend down there on the grid in row number 2. What do you got, Townsend?
Well, Bob just made a long run down here. Tonight for me is going to be all about how these guys make adjustments on the fly in the car. This car is such a narrow window on a track like this to get the setup right. It can be understeering, and then it'll be neutral for a lap, and all of a sudden they get loose. You've got to manage this car in that setup window to win this race tonight. Going to be fascinating to watch. Robin?
Graham Rahal's got one of the fastest cars, but he's starting way back in 20th. He had Texas 1 before he hit the wall with 2 laps to go. If anybody has to have a good race tonight, I think it's Graham, just because of all the things he's been through here lately. He hasn't had a lot of good luck, but he's had a good race car. Kevin Lee?
The other thing that we talked about a little bit is going to be tire management. The fuel window is a little bit larger than what the tires are going to last. Now, this is not any fault of Firestone's. This is good for us. It makes better racing, and they don't all wear the same way. Cars handling well are going to be able to last longer on the tires than somebody that is struggling with the handling. So definitely something to watch, and we could see some good action with people having better luck or bad luck with their tires.
Thanks, guys. Have a good race down there. Don't miss a chance to get in on Honda's fastest seat in sports sweepstakes. Enter by logging on to shophonda.com. This week's lucky winner is Alfred Arlick from Roanoke, Indiana. Alfred, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
What's it like out there?
Hey, this is the greatest. I really got to thank Honda and IZOD, INDYCAR, and Iowa Motor Speedway for the most fantastic ride.
Well, have a good time by logging on to shophonda.com. Alfred won the opportunity to start today's race in the IZOD two-seater driven by Ari Lyondike. Let's run through our onboard cameras. The number 77 of Simon Pagenaud has the HP onboard camera. Next is Charlie Kimball, the Novolog FlexPin, number 83 machine. J.R. Hildebrand carries the National Guard onboard camera. He'll start in 12th position. Bill Power also carries an onboard for us. There's James Hinchcliffe, who has the Verizon streaming onboard camera. And Marco Andretti, the Iowa Corn onboard camera. Well, the 98 car of Alex Tagliani has spun, and so we're not going to go green here on this lap. Trying to get tag started up and on the way here. He was scheduled to start in the 9th position. You can see he is being pushed onto the racetrack as the two-seater comes to a halt.
Hey, Bobby, Alex's car wouldn't start when we were in Detroit, so he's had a few issues here at the start of a race.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he gets things ready to go here. Still not moving.
And Bob, Joseph Newgarden was told on his radio, be aware, you might be able to move up a slot. Let's just kind of stand by and see whether we're starting in our regular location or maybe they let us move up with the issue with Tagliani.
All right.
Bob, when you see these grooves and you see them weaving back and forth and trying to keep the tires clean, which is not much of a problem after there's been rain, Tommy, I think that because of the rain, the running into the two grooves will come sooner. Because, Dario Franchitti was smoked.
The pole sitter.
I was just going to say, is this thing making a funny noise?
Wow.
Yeah, she just went out of Plymouth smoke, buddy.
Oh, my. Wow.
A big hit for Dario in the points. If this thing is terminal, as they expect it to be, how about that? Let's take a look at what happened. Just a big puff of smoke.
Just warming up. Wow. Well, you know, that is one thing about the championship this year is there's engine competition. And we haven't seen this for a while, but when the engine manufacturers are pushing the envelope, now you don't expect to have one blow up on the warm-up lap.
Well, he was a two-time winner here at Iowa in 2007 and 2009, but in a cloud of smoke, he emerges from his race car, and it appears to be all over for Dario Franchitti before the race begins. The pole sitter out before green.
Talked about how hard it was for pattern recognition, the things we've seen this year that are so unusual.
So because of the things that have happened here before the green, we're going to take a break before the green flag and be right back to Iowa. The Iowa Corn Indy 250 on NBC Sports Network is brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers. On and off the track, you can choose ethanol just like an IndyCar driver. The only difference is the speed limit. By IZOD. Go to IZOD.com to see the latest in IZOD color and performance. And by Honda, an official vehicle of the IZOD INDYCAR Series. Dario Franchitti's car being taken away from the racetrack. The pole sitter developing a problem before the green flag came out. A tough break for the pole sitter, Franchitti, in his quest to win another championship. Simon Pagenaud just came in. He can top off. He's starting last anyway, so he's not going to lose any positions. And Townsend is with Chip Ganassi.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Chip, obviously not the way we wanted to start tonight, the worst possible way. Any indication from Honda that there was an issue?
None. You know, Dario just came on the radio. He said the engine just blew up.
Was there anything about that you were able to relay to Scott? Any adjustments that you want him to make on, fuel mixture, anything like that?
Not a thing.
All right, well, good luck tonight with the other car.
We should go green this time by, as the field is rather staggered. I don't know whether they're going to get the green or not because they are very, very spread out here. That's Ryan Hunter-Reay at the front of the field, and they do not get the green flag. The yellow stays out. They are counting these laps, however. 8 have been completed out of the 250, and we haven't even seen the green flag yet.
And Bob, one of the things you saw right away during that shot and interview of Chip Ganassi was that Dario Franchitti went straight over to the Honda engineers. You know, it's a team effort, and he was giving them a, hey, you know, nobody feels worse than those Honda engineers. Giving them, hey, it's okay, guys.
All right, let's see what happens this time. Ryan Hunter-Reay on the inside, Marco Andretti on the outside, Hinchcliffe lining up third, and they're still not going to get the green. The last time Dario Franchitti had 2 consecutive DNFs was the final race of 2004 and the first race of 2005. And I can't remember when we had a pole sitter drop out of the race before the green flag came out. That is the situation, however. Elio Castroneves comes down, takes the green flag. No. Did they take the green? Yes, they did. We're underway. Elio Castroneves, the leader.
On the high side, that's the colors, of course, different for this race. The blue and white going to the high side. That is Briscoe, and there comes Joseph Newgarden. Wow, that's an aggressive move on James Hinchcliffe.
Newgarden moves up to 4th spot.
Tried the same thing at the start of his heat race. Look to the outside of Graham Rahal. Shows that he is not afraid. He's anxious. I mean, he feels like they've run well enough to be up front in these races, and they haven't closed one out.
Oh, but he got a bit of a wiggle there. You'll notice on the back of his car he had those greenish, bright yellow. That, of course, indicates that he is a rookie. That's the new version of the rookie stripe. Some day glow on the back.
Now Hinchcliffe begins to come back just a little bit, closing in on the back of Joseph Newgarden. Looks to the inside as Elio Castroneves, who started from pole because of Dario Franchitti's misfortune, has the lead over Briscoe, Andretti, Newgarden, Hinchcliffe, Hunter-Reay, Hildebrand, Power, Barrichello, and Dixon, the top 10. Still good side-by-side action here.
Now Hinchcliffe on the bottom should have a little more grip.
Go there.
But the faster way around, if you can keep it as on the top side, this is exactly what the drivers wanted to see, and that is both grooves working, and so far, Tommy, they are.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joseph Newgarden didn't, all the variables, cool temperatures, rain, cleared off track, but Newgarden just said, let's go.
Kevin, let's talk to Dario.
Well, Bob just told us that it's your first back-to-back DNFs, actually from the end of 04 to the beginning of 05, so this is very strange. Have you ever had an engine let go before the race even started?
Yeah, it was making a very strange noise, and I actually just come on the radio to say, is this thing making an odd noise? And just at that, it let go, so really disappointing. I believe this was our Indy winner engine too, so a real shame that it let go, but this is the engine that won us Indy too, so it's one of those things, and we'll move on. But I'll tell you, I think it's going to be a hell of a race. They're going to see the track changing a lot, and I'm going to be watching it with you guys on TV.
Sorry to say that you're watching. We'll look for a good race tonight. Dario Franchitti.
Joseph Newgarden loses positions. He's back to 7th spot as Hildebrand and Hunter-Reay were both able to get around him. There's Marco on the left. James Hinchcliffe, his Andretti Autosport teammate, right behind him.
That's our first indication of exactly what Dario is alluding to. When guys lose the handle or get a little bit of a bobble, they're going to have to pull out of it big time. So I think they call them comers and goers, where you're going to have guys moving forward, guys moving back. Good battle here between teammates.
Hinchcliffe goes to the bottom and takes a spot.
Tommy, just heard Marco on the scanner. He's yelling about the car bottoming really bad. His crew's telling him, look, the tire pressures are going to come up. Hang in there. But he's not happy right now.
On board with Marco running fourth.
And of course, with these cool temperatures, we talk about what the engineers have to do, and they try to hit that sweet spot in that target. One of them is tire pressures, because it's much cooler, and you want to make sure that they come up to the right level. And again, they haven't run in these conditions. It's somewhat of a gamble.
Yeah, these set of variables that are moving so quick with the new car they haven't fully scienced out, it's making a lot of really smart guys look like amateurs in a way. But you want the car absolutely as low as possible. The lower it gets, everything gets better. Drag, downforce, etc. So that's why they try to always be as low as they can, but sometimes they overshoot. And he needs those pressures to build. The spring rate of the tire goes up and it'll lift the car a little bit.
Elio beginning to lap some of the slower traffic already. Mike Conway has just been lapped in 23rd position. He is a lap down.
I think we just saw contact.
Back in a moment.
Here at Iowa Speedway in trouble has already hit the number 4 National Guard car, J.R. Hildebrand. Looks like contact, I heard from the team with Ryan Hunter-Reay. The front wing got damaged. They just replaced it. They're going to put new tires on anyway. Here, we're going to see a replay here of maybe what happened. Hunter-Reay exits up to the wall. Hildebrand's got a draft, and oh man, he just looked like he waited pretty long there to pop out. Let's see, he's got a little bit of an understeer moment. Yeah, he just mistimed that, guys, I gotta say.
And any pit stop is going to drop you way back. He lost 3 laps on that pit stop. So J.R. Hildebrand drops all the way back to 24th spot. But that's what happened when you pit under green. And Ryan Hunter-Reay now moves to the outside of his teammate Marco Andretti. And Ryan Hunter-Reay moves to 4th. That's Simona De Silvestro. To the right.
Big lifts in the middle for Marco.
And for Ryan Hunter-Reay, you can definitely see the contact on that rear wheel guard, and so there doesn't appear to be any damage for Hunter-Reay. And again, that was the idea of those guards, that if someone caught you with a wing, it calls from the spotters. But again, if you misjudged it like J.R. Hildebrand, the great news is that Ryan Hunter-Reay didn't get a cut tire, which he would have last year.
E.J. Viso has gained 10 positions since the drop of the green flag. Tony Kanaan has also picked up 10 spots, moving from 19th to 9th, and Takuma Sato started 23rd. He's up to 16th.
Wow, and that's side by side between Viso and Servia. Servia on the left, black and yellow on the high side, the Sitco colors of Viso. Again, some very close racing. Mike Conway they're going by. We knew he was in trouble early as Castroneves. That was the first car that he lapped.
Alex Tagliani, you see there at the front of that pack, he did get started, needless to say, is 2 laps down to the field. This is Viso and Servia from a few moments ago.
The Oriole starts to wash up a little bit, and EJ is already there.
And look at this momentum that Viso has coming off this corner. That is Tagliani ahead, so they did get his car refired.
It's now 12 spots that Viso has gained. He told us he felt good about things heading into this race. Came from a long way back to finish 3rd a couple years ago. Clearly likes this track, and it has shown that starting position is pretty much irrelevant.
He finished 3rd here in 2010. Meanwhile, Elio, the leader of the race, now coming up on Charlie Kimball, who is running in 17th.
Yeah, but look right behind. This could be a battle for the lead at the same time that you go for traffic. GoDaddy Hinchcliffe right there, trying to get to the inside, and then Elio's trying to get lap cars between. Tommy, of course, that's what you always want to use them as a pick.
Yeah, and this, look, here comes Hinch on the outside. Now he's going to try to slice in between.
Oh, that's great for Elio. Horrible for Hinchcliffe.
Ryan Hunter-Reay passes Ryan Briscoe, and so make Ryan Hunter-Reay now up to 3rd. Ryan Hunter-Reay, the yellow car, yellow and white.
He puts Graham Rahal a lap down. He was already lapped by the leader, Graham was. This is exactly what he was afraid of. He said, we have a good car, but they catch the tail end of the field so quickly. And so he's going to need to, get some brakes on yellows or some get off strategy to try to get those laps back.
Justin Wilson on the high side, red and white, Sonny's Barbecue. Nice move there on power.
This reminds me a lot of the heyday at places like Milwaukee, Phoenix, New Hampshire.
Oh, look, it might be 3 wide. Justin Wilson's going all the way to the top. Woohoo!
Wow.
And J.R. Hildebrand, look at him go with the new wing. Whoa, what are you doing up there?
Not much of a gap up there for Hildebrand, but he made it.
That was a hero move.
Look at him go. Talk about a guy who wants to make up time, and it shows you what new tires do, because we obviously know that J.R. Hildebrand came in for a wing, but he also got tires. Now he goes low on Briscoe. Not for position, but he's trying to get laps back.
Now he has new tires and more fuel, so what Hildebrand's going to hope for is that somehow there's a yellow between when everybody else stops and when he has to stop the next time. Another guy that has a potential of doing that, you saw, we weren't real clear about it at the start, that the laps had started counting. You're not allowed to top up on the pace laps. But Simone Pagenaud, as soon as they didn't throw the green, but the race officially started, he topped up with fuel, so he's going to be able to go longer than the leaders as well on fuel.
There's Pagenaud, who has moved up to 17th position, but he has lost a lap. And so at this point, with 48 laps completed, we have 16 of the 25 cars on the lead lap. Welcome back to the Iowa Corn Indy 250. The Eyes on IndyCar Series continues on ABC with the Honda Indy Toronto. Dario looks to defend last year's win and make a number 4 on the 1 3/4 mile street course. The Honda Indy Toronto, Sunday, July 8th at 12:30 Eastern on ABC. You saw on Nonstop, we have a new leader. Elio Castroneves led the first 51 laps, but James Hinchcliffe passed him on lap number 52 and is in the lead. Here's how it happened.
He had great momentum. He came off the 4th turn, got to the bottom, and it stuck beautifully for Hinchcliffe. Again, we've talked so much about how good is your car going to be at the end of the run. It certainly appears as though Hinchcliffe has things perfectly under control right now.
And now 2 yellow and white cars battle for 2nd position. Right now, Elio has it, and right behind him is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Let's see how this turns out. The battle is for 2nd spot.
Hunter-Reay's going high. Hunter-Reay had great momentum on the high side. He's going to try to turn 3.
Cannot make the pass. Let's see if he can do it coming out of the corner. Nope, Elio holds him off.
Lost the front there, kind of right in the middle of the corner.
Well, let's go to Kevin Lee, who's with Kevin Ross, the president of the Iowa Corn Growers Association. Kevin?
Thank you, Bob. Good to have you guys involved with this event again. What does it do for the Iowa Corn Growers Association being a title sponsor of an IndyCar race?
We think this race is absolutely fantastic. It is a great place for us to showcase what Iowa's corn farmers are doing, what they can do, and what we're going to do in the future to help lessen our nation's dependence on foreign oil and continue building the nation's fuel supply with a cleaner burning, renewable fuel.
The rain wasn't good for us in racing on time tonight, but good for everybody here, right?
Yeah, I don't think any farmers around here were complaining too much. We've been kind of dry across the state in certain spots. This was one of them, and we're glad to have that rain. I'm glad to see us racing tonight.
Thanks for the hospitality. That's Kevin Ross from the Iowa Corn Growers Association.
Well, you drive from Indianapolis to Des Moines, as I did, and you are constantly in cornfields when you enter the state of Iowa, and you realize just how important farmers are to the health of this nation. J.R. Hildebrand, again, 3 laps down because of the pit stop in which he changed the front nose of the car, but he is passing everybody out there.
And if he can catch up there to the GoDaddy car, which is Hinchcliffe, now I noticed the leader, Hinchcliffe, he's been getting in a little bit of trouble. His speeds have dropped way off when he gets mired in traffic. I think, Tommy, that his front tires are starting to not have the same kind of adhesion that he did. He gets in traffic and has trouble.
Yeah, right. They're going to be pitting you on in about 5 or 6 laps. I'm guessing it's going to be hanging on until then. You can tell they're starting to slide, these guys.
Justin Wilson and Ryan Hunter-Reay battle for third position. Boy, Justin has been amazing here on these ovals this year.
A few laps ago, Hunter-Reay was right on the back of Castroneves, and obviously Castroneves been able to stretch it back out in traffic. So that just kind of shows you traffic maybe be as big a factor as the balance of the race cars. Now, what we're seeing from Hildebrand here actually raises an interesting prospect. We have Craig Hampson, longtime Newman Haas engineer, who's helping us out in the TV booth.
Oh, Power
and Viso.
The points leader has crashed. He did last year here in Iowa. And bringing out the first caution of the evening, a two-car incident between Will Power and E.J. Viso.
Power's car, surprisingly, well, he stopped. Didn't look that bad.
Shut the car off. We'll be there.
All four wheels are pointed in the right direction, I guess, by not that bad.
Well, let's see how bad it was.
Oh, E.J. Viso goes low.
No.
And
he's pretty. I don't know if he knew he was down there. He chopped across the front.
And that was not E.J. Viso coming up. E.J. Viso kept his left wheels on the line, and you just have to assume, like you said, Tommy, that Will Power didn't get the word from his spotter that inside of him was E.J. Viso.
On board Will.
You can see how close he is to the yellow line.
And E.J. Viso can't go any lower than the yellow line. And in fact, they were told by race director Bo Barfield that you were required to leave one lane open on the inside. Power did not. Townsend?
Yeah, thanks, Jan. This is James Hinchcliffe, our leader. He's in there. He's watching the fuel probe, see when it drops. He's off and away. Nice stop, burning out all the way to the speed limiter.
And run for Justin Wilson so far as we watch the race on pit road, and Elio Castroneves just barely beats James Hinchcliffe. Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to get out third. Wilson lost a lot of spots. He came in fourth. He's going to exit 8th or 9th. Also of note, he's dealing with radio problems right now.
Dixon moved up 3 positions on the race-off pit lane. Justin Wilson suffered, losing 3. Serbia up 1, and Briscoe down 1. Here's Oriole Serbia. Ooh. Big flame out of the
Flaming
back of that
burnout.
car. Yeah, really. Huh. Well, the cleanup now begins. And here's the race off pit lane. You can see that Elio is about a car length ahead of Hinchcliffe as they passed by the pit zone marker.
And part of that was pit position because he pitted later. That gives you that advantage when you race to the line. Nice job.
Actually, our second caution of the evening. The first was before the green came out for Dario's situation. And now the points leader, Will Power, crashes with E.J. Viso, bringing out our second caution of the evening. That's why we're under caution. We'll return with more of the Iowa Corn Indy 250 from Iowa Speedway. Under our second caution of the evening, there is the damaged race car of E.J. Viso as he came in contact with Will Power in turn number 2. So 2 of our title contenders, at least from the last few years, Dario Franchitti, who was the pole sitter, dropped out before the green flag flew. And will finish in 25th position. And then this incident between Viso and Power sends the points leader to the outside wall. And he now has just an 8-point advantage on James Hinchcliffe. But a lot of laps to go in this one. We understand that a penalty will be given to the number 14 car of Mike Conway for a speed violation, and also for James Jakes, who passed the pace car. However, Graham Rahal did get back on the lead lap.
Rubens Barrichello didn't get the call to come in with everyone else on that stop as we look at Graham Rahal now, who did get his lap back. Barrichello, though, wasn't hurt too much. He was 10th coming in, comes out in 12th position because we've only got 15 cars on the lead lap.
James Jake's penalty has not been served yet. He will have to do it when we go back to green. Let's talk to E.J. Viso.
You was just explaining, Bob. How'd you see it, kid? It looked like you were holding your line.
Well, Will was definitely off the pace, and he didn't use his mirror. I just had a run on him. I was into corner one. He just blocked me, and I couldn't go any lower. I already had my front left tire inside the apron under the yellow line. He just kept going lower, and I had nowhere to go. This is not the usual Will that we used to know by being clean. It's the second race in a row that he affects somebody in my team, and it's very disappointing. We had a great car. I believe that we could have won this race. Just a shame.
I was going to say, you moved up quickly, and the thing looked like it was on rails for about 50 laps.
Man, the car was a rocket. I'm very grateful with the team. We've been having some very strong performances. The results are very close, but things like this are stopping us from getting them.
Glad you're okay. Thanks for the time. Back upstairs to you guys.
E.J. Viso out after 78 laps of this race because of an accident with power. The onboard camera with James Hinchcliffe.
Trying to pick up here.
Call Star Indy for live in-car cameras, driver, pit crew chatter, and more. Download INDYCAR Mobile only from Verizon.
And Bob, I have to say, when you talk to drivers after incidents, I mean, obviously they see it in their favor, but I would have to agree with Viso that he was down, the car stayed down, he was on the yellow line, and I don't know what else he could do, especially when they were mandated in the drivers' meeting that at no circumstance, when you have someone coming up behind you, can you close off that inside lane.
Well, I think you're going to find Will Power. He was upset afterwards, but I mean, it was pretty clear that he came all the way down and didn't leave a lane. If he knew he was there, that's inexplicable. So I suspect it was one of those things where Power might have been struggling and didn't get the call from the spotter and didn't hear it.
Tommy, that's my question. Did the spotter tell him and he chose to ignore it and take things into his own hands, or did he not get the information? Another thing, guys, starting to feel a couple of raindrops here on my head down in pit lane.
Yeah, we saw it from the lights that there is definitely rain falling on the racetrack with 80 of 250 laps completed. We are getting set now to go back to the green flag as the cars will line up 2 by 2. Castro Neves and Hinchcliffe on the first row, and we will not get a
Yeah, you can see the drops.
Yep. Wow. Well, we're about 40-some laps from the official race distance if we should get rain. That stops us completely.
Remember the last time this happened on a restart was New Hampshire, I think, and that led to an absolute grilling of Brian Barnhart. We got a new race director, Bo Barfield. I'm sure he'll be thinking about making sure this thing is bone dry before we go green.
This is the 5th race that Elio has led this year. It's the 2nd consecutive oval race he has led. He led 50 laps at Milwaukee. And we had some radio transmission that we eavesdropped on just a few minutes ago with James Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, and you realize Power's out. Obviously, Frank Edie's out. Doesn't matter who's out. All matters who's in.
There you go.
Is that the INDYCAR version of if you're not winning, you're losing?
We got some James Hinchcliffe fans in the stands,
absolutely. But there's no question to me at this point in time. Of course, they've made pit stops and changes, but Hinchcliffe, prior to this, was the fastest car on the racetrack.
We remain under caution because of some raindrops that are falling once again on Iowa Speedway. We were about 40 minutes late in getting this race started because of a downpour that occurred a couple of hours before the scheduled start of the race. And now some light sprinkles once again cause a caution period, or at least the continuation of a caution period that was started with the Viso and Power crash. Well, looks like that we are set to go again. Good.
That was quick.
Let's And the green flag comes out. We are back to racing at Iowa. Hinchcliffe looks to the outside of Castro Neves, but cannot make a move. As they're 3 wide through the corner, that's Joseph Newgarden, the blue with red on the front wings. He is moving up.
Man, is he a fast starter. First he went high, then he went low. Joseph Newgarden not starting like a rookie, but now he's lost pace. That's the red and white car of Justin Wilson going to his inside.
Moved up to 7th. Now he's back to 8th and may lose another spot because Ryan Briscoe is right there below him. More from Kevin.
Joseph Newgarden was dealing with a lot of understeer in that first stint, and he said, I was too extreme with the tools. So the pit stop, they made an aero change, and they were confident during that yellow that he was going to come back with a good race car, and it looks like they have.
Well, they had briefly for a couple turns. Now he's going straight backwards.
There's Ed Carpenter. However, he is a lap down in 16th spot. That's Oriol Servia making the move now. He is on the lead lap in 10th position. J.R. Hildebrand gained one of the laps back that he lost. He's now 2 down in 20th position. That's Newgarden up ahead in the 67. Newgarden back to 10th.
And even with that blaze.
Oh, look at that wiggle, though, Tommy. Woo!
Understand that James Shakes will have to do a stop and go on pit lane. He did a drive-through, but now he needs to do a stop.
Past the pace car, you get in big trouble.
Yeah.
He was supposed to do a stop, I believe, first time. It blew through the pits, so now he's got to redo it.
Saw just a second ago, Rubens Barrichello pass Newgarden, so Barrichello moves up to 10th spot. There's the center interval between first and second. Here is 3rd, 4th, 5th position between Kanaan and Dixon. Battle for 5th.
So interesting how you can get such a great run on people going into the corners, but as soon as you get in that aerodynamic wash, it's like you put the brakes on. It really ebbs and flows. There's the stop and go.
Yep.
Servia's getting some fuel.
That's a puzzler.
Well, remember, he had that flame out the back, so my guess is that they had some sort of fuel leak and possibly they didn't get it full for Servia.
Boy, an eternity on pit lane for James Shakes. Finally, he gets the nod and now goes back into competition. Helio Castroneves continues to lead. He has now led 58 of the first 93 laps in the Iowa Corn Indy 250. Hinchcliffe, Hunter Ray, Andretti, and Kanaan, the top 5. And we are under caution once again. This is for J.R. Hildebrand, who had an earlier problem and now has had a terminal problem as he's made contact with the wall. And J.R. Hildebrand's race is over. And we have joining us in the booth as he watches his teammate Scott Dixon make a pit stop, and several others, including Ryan Briscoe. Dario Franchitti has joined us here in the booth as we see Dixon's work completed. And Briscoe also moves back out onto the racetrack. Let's take a look at what happened to J.R. Hildebrand. We're on board with him in turn 4.
He picked up the understeer quite early in the corner there. I'm surprised he didn't get out of it a little earlier.
And Dario, this is what happened when you were still on pit road, came up behind Ryan Hunter-Reay and misjudged it and whacked the front wing.
I can totally relate to this here. With this new bumper behind the car and the extra length of the nose and that big front wing, I've done it a couple of times this year, just misjudged. You're used to just skimming the nose.
Off the rear wing, and that's not the furthest.
And the rear wheel.
Yeah.
And now you've got all that stuff behind it. So
Servia now, we had seen fire and an extra pit stop. Now it seems like it's more serious.
If Servia didn't have any luck, he always.
Well, he has passed a lot of cars this year, you know.
Yes, he has.
Unbelievable.
Got a new nickname for him. I popped into my head when I was watching Robin swim in the pool, and Robin wears those floaties in the pool, and he pops to the surface like a cork. I mean, Servia is the cork. of the IndyCar series.
That's not the first time I've seen the flames, though, is it?
No.
You know, it's happened a lot this year. It's what they're telling me is it just dribbles a bit of fuel and it gets on the turbos, especially the Chevys having the turbos out either side.
All right. Robin is with Will.
Will, first of all, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yep. It was a soft hit.
What, from your perspective, what happened?
I just lost it. Like, I just lost it. I feel bad for EJ because I took him with me. But he said to me in the car, I was down low or something on him, and oh, shit. Oh, yeah, I see. I did not even get the call that he was underneath me, so I feel, man, I didn't even know it was there. I feel bad for him.
Your guys are scrambling around. You going to try and get back in the race?
I think the car's going to be too wrecked. Man, I didn't even know it was there. I can't believe. Oh, so that's what happened. Like, he hit me. Like, I feel bad for him. I didn't even know he was there.
Yeah, he said we didn't know if your spotter was talking to you or not.
Oh, I didn't even. Yeah, that's not good, I feel.
So, but you think it's probably damaged too bad to fix?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I'll go back and check it out because, yeah, if we can get out, get some points, that'd be good.
Okay, thanks, Will.
Thanks.
Back to you guys.
Now, Dario, you're reacting a little bit. When I saw EJ pointed us, I thought that was a little rich.
It's a little rich coming from EJ. He's hit everything but the pace car out there, so...
And there is Mr. Franchitti.
Yeah, that annoyed me there. Will made a mistake for sure, but EJ, how many mistakes has he made? How many people, and he never comes up and says, "Hey, sorry, I screwed up there." That was a shame, and Will just took the blame and made a mistake.
Takuma Sato makes a pit stop, Kevin.
And they're working on Will Power's car here in the garage area. I just spoke with Tim Cindric, and he said it's doubtful whether they can get back out. But one scenario where they could is if we had a rain delay, or if it rained hard and they had to finish the race tomorrow. So that's why they're continuing to work on it. But mainly, in case there's a rain delay, they would get back out for points. But if the race runs green the rest of the way, they are probably not going to get it fixed in time.
And Kevin, so interesting that while you're taking that shot, one of the mechanics says, "Wait, there's a camera in here. Give me a cloth. I'm covering those dampers. We don't want." And Dario's trying to look at the monitor. What has he got under there? What is he running? They're trying to fix the car at the same time. Whatever you do, don't show them what we're running.
Trust me, there's teams up and down the pit lane will be freeze framing that when they get home and their DVRs going, okay.
That's not my best angle there,
I was going to say, the bright glare you just saw was off Kendall's head.
Wow. Ouch. You guys are harsh. I think what we're going to see, just thinking about the race here, the track was really green. I felt even in the warm-up laps, had no grip. It's going to change a lot, and you're going to see comers and goers. And guys like Scott, I think Dixie's car is going to be better towards the end of the race as the track rubbers in. So this is not by no means a status quo. I see this changing a lot.
So there's a lot of guesswork going on, and you've made assumptions about where it's going to head. So we're going to see who's got the right adjustment and so forth. One thing I wanted to talk to you about, I think we're going to go to break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about the tools in the car and how you would use them and so forth.
Sounds good.
107 of 250 laps completed here at Iowa Speedway. Elio Castro-Neves leads James Hinchcliffe. We'll be right back.
Back in Iowa with Jerry Hildebrand, a tough night, kid. The first time you misjudged, Dario said it's easy to do with these new noses and the car being a little longer.
Yeah, I mean, with Hunter Ray there, I just, I kind of washed up into his wake and just had such a big run on him that when you're that close, the car doesn't really turn as much as you think it is. And so I missed that by probably a matter of inches. But that obviously put us a few laps down. But, man, after that, we were just all in the mail. Like, the car was super, super good. I feel terrible for the Panther race, the whole National Guard hiring our heroes, guys. I mean, we had such a good race. I mean, I had every bit of faith that with a couple of yellows we were going to get back on the lead lap and motor up through the field. I mean, the car was really that good, and so it's just, I'm pissed. That was just a mistake on my part.
Okay, kid, thanks. Glad you're all right. Back to you guys.
Ready to go green once again. Castro-Neves and Hinchcliffe.
Green.
And the green comes out on lap number 111. We go back to racing. Ryan Hunter-Ray and Marco Andretti are wheel to wheel.
That was clever of Castro-Neves to drift high there coming off because he knew on the high side was Hinchcliffe.
Andretti and Hinchcliffe battle for second, but Hinch comes on and retains the position.
Hinch is the man up top. He proved that all weekend, and that's I think that's where the passing is going to be done, but not if somebody else is up there. See Marco get upset over that bump there.
Yeah.
He'll get better as the tire pressures come up, but he's obviously running the car pretty low, which is an old Andretti trick.
Now, the bump is quite a bit better because they actually drilled holes and infused some material that expands, almost like industrial expanding foam that you would use to raise that. So Dario is quite a bit better than last year.
Yeah, they've worked really hard on it. It's actually about the same as last year, but about 2 months ago it was a lot worse, so they brought it back up similarly.
Boy, we got to give a tip of the hat to Simon Pagenaud, who started last and has moved up to 9th. He has been the biggest gainer so far tonight, getting 16 positions alongside Barrichello.
That was another almost willpower replay there, but Rubens did get the call from the spotter, and he gets that for position.
Yeah, I think the spotters need to be a little quicker sometimes on the radio there, but Pagenaud has done a great job all season. There goes Dixie making a move on Rubens. Nice work there.
It underscores what you're talking about. These races with the changes are like 500 milers. And so Pagenaud was a lap down earlier. He's back on the lead lap. Now he's the biggest mover. So you just got to kind of live to fight another day. And when did you get that sort of patience to learn to let the race come to you and just work through some of that stuff?
Still working on it. TK just pushed up there.
Yeah.
And you also saw some sparks, and that's, again, because it's cooler. They've had recent pit stops. The pressures may not be all the way up. If you start dragging Dario, then the car really moves.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll take Tony about another lap and a half here to get the momentum back up now, but then he'll come back at Ryan. You watch. He was the first guy who was brave enough to go up on the high side last night, and he had his car working. Expect his car to get better, I would say, as the race goes on.
That's Ed Carpenter right behind TK. Carpenter is a lap down in 14th position. And as we go along here, the point situation continues to evolve. Right now, Castro Neves and Hinchcliffe are tied for second, but only 3 points behind Will Power, who is sidelined because of a crash.
And look at TK. He's a tiger. He's like the Geico Gecko. Even when he gets scared,
he has to back off, though. He can't keep it low.
Yeah, he wants to go high, but Hunter Ray knows that.
And there's that bump. There's a bump right there, and that's right where he's having the trouble. The bump is high and low, is it not?
It's high and low. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Right against the line, it's a little better, but otherwise it's pretty bad. And if you do go low in 3 and 4 as well, there's not a lot of grip down there because there's less banking.
And of course, that's part of what we were just talking about, is it's more of a depression than it is a bump, which is why they put material underneath the track, drilled holes to try to raise that, because it's over the tunnel. It sunk effectively. And as you said, Dario, it's been well improved.
When we first showed up here, the test a couple of weeks ago, we were hitting that bump, bottoming out, and 4-wheel sliding the thing on the exit of 2, and that was pretty interesting. We didn't last there like that very long. We came in and made some changes.
Graham Rahal trying to get 11th position from Charlie Kimball, unable to do so. Townsend.
Yeah, so I saw Oriol Servia's car get rolled back into the pits. I talked to his crew chief, into the garage. They're going to go back and work on it. They had a pit fire. They think they melted some of the electronics in that pit fire. It was a fueling issue with the fuel nozzle and the Buckeye. They're going to go back and see if they can get it fixed, but wasn't looking too optimistic. The crew chief wasn't for Oriol Servia.
Now, there were a few Buckeye seals that failed in Texas, and in fact, they sent a memo out to the teams to be sure that they got all those redheads, as they call it, the probes, worked on to alleviate that problem.
Yeah, wasn't Marco's one of them? Did he have the fire as well? Yeah.
And then Marco, that whole thing, he was on fire. He left the pits, it blew out, and then he thought the radio communication was, I'm still on fire, so he comes in the pits and jumps out like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Get back in the car.
We'll do what we got to do here, okay?
Jeff Grorner's crew chief is my old crew chief, and when Gorney pushes you back in the car, you do what you're told.
125 laps are in the books. This time around, it will be an official race. So we won't be coming back tomorrow, even if it does rain. Let's hope it doesn't, as James Jakes comes in for another pit stop. Jakes led 15 laps during that one caution. Here's Newgarden again with Pagenaud. The battle is for 7th spot.
Pagenaud continues to impress, man. He's the real deal.
Yeah. Did you drive with him in the LMP car?
I drove against him. Marino, my little brother, drove with him, and he just kept telling me how good he was. Here comes Dixie, too.
Yep.
Dixie's got his car working on the bottom, which bodes well for the end of the race there.
Did you two start with the same setup today?
Pretty close today. Yesterday were completely different, and we kind of saw the result. But we migrated a bit today, which we tend to do. We steal from each other.
Mike Conway has had numerous problems tonight. He's in the pits once again and continues to lose laps. He's now 6 laps down. As Elio continues to show the way, he's now led in 5 of the 6 races here at Iowa Speedway. He's led the most laps, 93 so far. Hinchcliffe has led 19, Jakes 15, and Rubens Barrichello also led 1 lap. Pagenaud and Justin Wilson, 6th and 7th.
Wow, look at this. Oh, Wilson's high. Oh. Wilson was rubbing the wall.
It just shows a little bit of rubber on the track, and Simon's car comes to life. And Justin did a good job saving it there. It's that was close. As the banking falls off a 2, you see what happens there. Big old slide, and well held by Justin there.
It's the 4th oval race of Pagenaud's life.
Yeah, the boy's got potential, I tell you.
I was really impressed at listening to him talk at Milwaukee. He really relishes the challenge of the oval, and he did an amazing job of slowing it down and breaking down the challenge of hustling the car in, dealing with letting the downforce catch the car. Look at that, how much distance he's put him already.
Yep. Yeah, and Dixie just had to lift there trying to pass Justin. He lost the momentum.
Here's some limiter.
The hard limiter, yeah.
And we've talked about the hard limiter. The hard limiter is that aggressive one. There's a second softer limiter that's meant to keep you out of the hard limiter. Explain how that works.
I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. It basically, it stops it getting into that hard, aggressive INDYCAR mandated limiter. It makes it more smooth and costs you less speed. If you get in the hard limiter, it could cost you 5 miles an hour.
What I found out, well, we'll talk about it when we come back from break. Rather than running a higher gear, you're better off holding it back a little with the soft limiter rather than getting into the hard limiter. You can raise the gearing, but that is too big a jump.
Ryan Briscoe moves to 12th position, putting Kimball back to 13th with 135 of 200 laps completed here in Iowa. The INDYCAR Series returns to the NBC Sports Network with the Edmonton Indy Sunday, July 22nd. Will Power looks to defend last year's win on the streets of Edmonton City Center, where he, Scott Dixon, and Sebastian Bourdais have 2 wins each. Coverage begins with the Firestone Indy Light Series race Sunday, July 22nd at 12:30 Eastern here on the NBC Sports Network. Well, Ryan Hunter-Reay has moved to 2nd position, passing both Andretti and Hinchcliffe in the last few moments.
And there have been some wild and woolly moments between teammates. And Darrow, you were on the edge of your seat saying, those are teammates, that's not on.
Yeah, I'm not sure Marco's too happy with Ryan right now. That was a pretty aggressive move. But yeah, he's making progress.
Fuel on your fuel. Position, fuel on your fuel.
We listen in to Marco's radio conversation a few minutes ago.
That's exactly what Dario said.
It's kind of what I expected.
What doing?
You know, Marco and I were fighting out last night, and we gave each other a lot of room, and I saw him this morning, and we kind of high-fived each other, so that was cool. You got to respect the guys, and sometimes you don't, sometimes you all screw up.
Well, there were a couple really close moments between teammates, and it was the same thing when Ryan Hunter-Reay went by Hinchcliffe. I mean, there was just inches between the two on the high side.
The tires are getting a little older here. The grip's going down just a little bit. I mean, it's yeah.
Here we go.
The Hinch pedaled it there, didn't
he? He had to.
But I don't think Ryan did.
No, yeah, Ryan just stayed in it and said, I hope he doesn't come up.
Yeah, he's been fairly aggressive.
And Marco's got to run.
Yeah, Marco's a little upset right now.
Yeah, they didn't do the same thing to him.
No, as soon as you have to lift it, you're done. And you can see he's having to lift over that bump. So if he just moves up a lane, it might go a little better. But
now, I've never seen a guy move his hands as much on the steering wheel as Marco. Is that sort of his style, or is there something going on with the steering effort here?
No, it's bloody heavy. It's unbelievably heavy. Marco does tend to move the steering wheel more than most, but it is crazy. When Justin Wilson turned to me last night and said, "Was that heavy for you?" I knew I was in good company, because Justin's about as strong as they get. But you'll see everybody stretching their hands under the yellow.
For the lead. Ooh, it looked like Ryan Hunter-Reay is looking on the inside. He's still got some momentum on Castro Neves.
That's strong. That's a strong move right there. And here comes Marco too.
Yeah, Marco's now he's trying to get second. Can't do it.
Well, Hunter-Reay was able to sit right behind.
That's impressive.
Elio on the high line there.
Oh, he's going high. Wow.
Really high.
Yeah.
He could. Elio pulled up a little in front of him there, just with understeer. if he can sit close like he did there before, yeah, Ryan looks strong right now.
Now, we've seen a couple times where the car behind just takes off for the wall. What does it feel like when you feel the turbulence? I mean, you know it's coming and prepare for it, or do you feel it through the wheel, through your seat? What does that feel like?
You lose like 50% of your grip, and it's a horrible feeling. It's just like hitting ice, and then the rear will come round right at the last moment, but you've got to preempt it if you can.
We're going to keep an eye on this situation. Let's talk to Oriol Servia, Robin.
Bobby, 2 years in a row, Oriol Servia's had a great race car, and he's been foiled by a bad fuel system. What happened, kid?
Well, it's, you know, a shame. I had a great car, awesome. I felt we had a car to win, honestly. But funny enough, or not funny, but the same piece that cost me the race last year cost me the race today at the same track. It's just a little valve there that opens when the fuel has to go in. Last year it wouldn't open in my last stop, and this year it just stayed open too long, and the fuel came on the car and burned half of the wires that go to the engine, so we had to stop. It's just one of those things that you cannot control.
Better luck in Toronto. Townsend?
Yeah, thanks, Robin. That was Marco Andretti just pitting. There was no changes. They've got a great balance going on this Andretti team. All three cars are fast. He is off and away.
Wow, Pagenaud's moved up.
Up to third.
Wow.
Some of the guys pitting here, guys, yeah.
Here comes the leader. Helio Castroneves gives up the lead to make his stop, Kevin.
Helio radioed in a bit ago and said the computer is wrong, so it must be some sort of telemetry issue. Not sure if it's the fuel reading or what, but he was told just stay in slot 1 and drive it. He'll come in here for a green flag stop, and he's back out away. That's a really good stop for Castroneves.
7.5 seconds. We also see James Hinchcliffe pitting, as Andretti now has the lead. Townsend?
Yeah, watching the hinge stop here. Smooth and steady. They're adding half turn of front wing. Dealing with a little bit of understeer most likely, and he's off and away.
And now Ryan Hunter-Reay comes in.
Hunter-Reay will come in and make the left-hand turn. He's got an easy in, and he'll have an easy outside. And Pagenaud is also in, which we can see. Barrichello is in and out. Pagenaud having a solid stop. He's going to get away. Hunter-Reay is going to take a half a turn of front wing, and he's going to get out. And he is going to beat Pagenaud back out on the course.
All these pit stops coming under green.
And there goes Marco, so you're getting an idea where they're going to cycle back in as they're leaving the pits.
Dixon's gone to lead on a different cycle, so Dixie's looking quite good there. He's gained 5 seconds on Briscoe since that last restart. He's pulled away 5 seconds, so he's looking quite good.
Actually, Briscoe was still caught in the pits. They were topping him up at the very end of it, and he didn't catch the tail end of the thing, so I expect Briscoe to be able to go longer.
Good job.
What we saw there with Marco, usually everybody goes as long as you can on fuel because you lose a lap. It's because of the tire wear, we're actually seeing something different, where Marco was the first guy in, even only running 1 lap shorter. His 1 lap on faster tires put him in front of Castroneves.
Yes,
so you're going to start seeing guys roll the dice. It's a big risk to take up front because you can go down a lap if a yellow comes out.
And there's that group all together. So after their pit stops, they're all together. And look at Helio up top. Ooh, when you're kicking up dust, you are way out of the groove.
The thing with short pitting now, for the benefit of speed, is at some point you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to, at the end, you have to pit earlier. So you want to leave it as long as possible and have the best tires on the car at the end, I would say, but that's just the way I'd play it.
Well, it's a gamble you might take if you're back, but if you're up front, the risk of getting caught 1 or 2 laps down if the yellow flies at the wrong time, like you know, your guys are going with the low risk routine. Might cost him track position.
Well, they're also going for something else. If he does not pit immediately, if he stays out a while longer, he could actually only make 1 more stop. If he wants to go in conserve mode, which I'm not sure you want to do with this tire wear, but if he stays out a bit, he would actually be in the window to not stop again.
Absolutely. We discussed all that in the team meeting this morning. If you do pit and it goes yellow, you're going to be 2 laps down, and it's tough to make up to, I would say. Although JR almost proved me wrong earlier.
Here's a battle for 6th position. Castroneves and Hinchcliffe. And Ryan Hunter-Reay ahead of that group. But Scott Dixon is the leader right now, and Ryan Briscoe is 2nd. Alex Tagliani 3rd. And then Andretti 4th.
If we were to have a yellow right now, the 2 cars on the lead lap, just with the way the pits have worked out, so that'd be a little odd.
and Ryan Briscoe has 10 laps on Scott Dixon. Yes, they both did come under that yellow at 100, but right before it went green, Briscoe came back in and topped off at 110. That's why he was so far back. He was a half a lap behind when it went green, so he's really been hauling to catch back up to the pack. So different pit strategy here, a couple of different ones to make things interesting.
I got to apologize to Ryan. I got that one wrong. I thought Dixon had pulled out all that space. Sorry, Ryan. Again, Marco on cold tires there. The bump looks a bit more work. There's a real sweet spot between about lap sort of 7 and lap 25 where it feels pretty good over that bump, and then you start losing. Up
until 7, you don't have enough pressure. Then it feels pretty good for a while, and then now talk about the tools a little bit. Something might happen and interrupt us, but you don't want the car to push, get real loose, and then adjust.
You've got to keep the balance of the car. You've got to keep it just right. And if you abuse the fronts, abuse the rears, it's just not going to work. And that was always the case here. But now with the less downforce, it's really there. So you're using your weight jacker, your bars to try and keep that car in balance. Yeah. It's like TK just passed Pagano.
And Dixon continues to lead this race with 170 laps completed now. We're in non-stop, so you won't miss anything on the racetrack. We'll take this break, however, and be back with more of the Iowa Corn Indy 250. Saw non-stop the leader, Scott Dixon, come in for the pit stop on lap number 176. Also pitting right now is Alex Tagliani. Robin?
You know, I asked Brian Hurt if obviously he's taking his 4 tires. That he lost 2 laps, and he said, no, that's usually when they don't start a race on time, they count those laps. He lost 2 quick laps, but he's obviously got a fast race car.
Oh, contact! Ryan Briscoe and Joseph Newgarden in the wall. Briscoe was the leader of the race.
That was the caution Briscoe needed. He just needed to not be in it.
Wanted to be him.
Ryan Briscoe was looking, as you said, he was looking for a caution. He would have been on his own lap. Wow.
It's going to be usable, man. It's pretty smashed.
He was the last one that was out on the course with a lap all on his own.
To get taken out by a lapper, and now, I mean, from Newgarden's standpoint, he's on fresher tires and the guy's holding him up, but the reality is the guy's not in the lead lap.
Ooh, a lot of water bailing out of the side. By the way, Dario Franchitti left, but we certainly do appreciate him being up here in the booth after an engine problem sidelined him before the green flag came out. Here's the replay of the incident between Newgarden on the bottom and Ryan Briscoe.
Oh, this is really late. This is not the same as Viso and Power. To me, Tommy, this developed much later. Briscoe is already well into the turn.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Jan. That was Briscoe would have had no idea he was going that late in the corner.
Certainly, Briscoe was nursing it. Briscoe would have been on really worn tires, and he wouldn't have been the same kind of speed. But that was, he's committed now. He's already on his way down. This is a really late move.
That's just a lack of experience. I mean, he was about to rear end him basically, and kept going lower and went for the apron.
There's Newgarden's car. Doesn't appear to be too badly damaged as it is still rolling.
This almost kind of puts everybody back on the same strategy.
Well, what's going to happen is, though, all the people who did not stop, in other words, Dixon will not stop now.
Right.
So he'll gain only a few spots, but he'll be, if you have to assume that Andretti, Hunter Ray are going to take advantage of this yellow and pit.
Everyone stop. They'll fill up. They're one stop to go now. So they'll be behind him.
Right, because Dixon's good to go.
Right.
His last stop, there were 3 people who could have pulled it off, and that was Dixon, Tagliani, and Ryan Briscoe. And Briscoe was doing the right thing. Roger Penske left him out. They were looking for yellow, and who would have thought he would have been the one, just like you said, as Marco rolls in.
Yeah, he was a leader after the crash, but now he rolls in for the final pit stop. What he hopes will be Scott Dixon now is the leader of the race. Work completed on Marco's car. Back onto the track he goes. See Castro Neves and Ryan Hunter Ray also coming out. Kevin?
Hunter Ray will come out and just barely misses Helio Castro Neves, but I believe that's Marco Andretti to beat everybody out.
Now, how close did Dixon cut it to get into their window? Can they run full fuel?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's basically, they're all in the same scenario now. And look how tight this was, they know this is their last stop. They want to try and grab track position when they have the opportunity. But because Dixon's only done a lap or two on those tires, it's essentially everybody's in the same deal. Yeah, he might actually have an advantage because he's got them scrubbed in a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was like really tight on fuel and these guys can go full rich and he's
no, now we're good, especially with some caution. They're good to go to the end now.
We're in our fourth caution that has consumed 44 laps of this race out of 183. There's the wreck car of Ryan Briscoe. Welcome back to Iowa Speedway. Scott Dixon is the leader of the race. Moments ago, we eavesdrop on a radio conversation involving Helio Castroneves. Let's listen.
Okay, what's the strategy here? Do I need to save fuel? Because the dash might not work sometimes, but the slot is working.
All right, 10-4. What we're trying to do is that's your last stop. We're going to try and stretch it to the end. So whenever we can save fuel, we need to.
10-4.
There you go, the strategy from the Penske team. And Robin is with Ryan Briscoe.
We haven't seen the replay yet, but Ryan was just saying he was kind of motioning, trying to show him where to go. Here we go, Ryan. We're going to look at it right now. But you said you were kind of motioning him the lap before.
Yeah, we went down the straight here, and you say it too late, but we were pitting that lap. We were coming in for tyres, and I think it's a scenario where he's out there on stickers, going about 2 seconds a lap quicker. And we were going down the straight. I went low early in the straight to show him that I was giving him the high line. And when we got there, he just never lifted and just came barreling in. So it's disappointing. My spotter didn't have time to tell me that that's where he was going. I don't think anyone saw that coming. So it's start finish. I'd gone low. And, I mean, he's come from way too far back there. And it's too late in the corner to make a pass like that. So it's disappointing, but he's a rookie and he'll learn from it. And it's a shame because I think on fuel, we're in position to win the thing. We'd made the car handling a lot better from the start, and I was looking forward to the finish.
I was going to say, your strategy with Scott Dixon's and Tagliani's was looking pretty good.
Yeah, we were spot on. Roger was making the moves, and we made a gutsy call at the end of that last caution to come in, top up, and we had more fuel than anyone. So it's really disappointing. It's great to see all the fans sticking around through the slight rain delay tonight. I love racing in Iowa, and I just hate to finish this way.
Well, we're glad you're okay. Back to you guys, Bobby.
And there you see Joseph Newgarden, who is out of the car. He's discussing the situation with his team, the Sarah Fisher Hartman team.
That's a very graceful interview. He says he's a rookie. He'll learn. Didn't really slam him. Pretty cool interview.
All right, let's take a look at what has happened so far in case you just joined us.
Well, there's plenty that has happened, and it happened right from the get-go before it actually got to the get-go, and that was at Dario Franchini's Honda Kablamo before he ever got to the green flag. His championship hopes, you got to wonder about those. We enjoyed the time we spent with him in the booth, not what he wanted to be doing today. And then he said this is easy to do, to misjudge when you swing to the inside with the new bodywork on that car. That's J.R. Hildebrand getting in the back of Ryan Hunter-Reay. He was one of the faster cars later, but this was for the lead. Hinchcliffe going down low on Castroneves. His car was awesome at the beginning portions of the race. And then this incident between Viso and Power. And now that Will Power has seen the replay, he agrees. Oh my spotter did not tell me Viso was there. That wasn't Viso's fault. Sorry about that. But boy, that was thankful that no one was injured in that. And then leaving the pits, Castroneves gets the lead back from Hinchcliffe, and back on the racetrack, trying to make up time, but gets high, gets out in the loose stuff. J.R. Hildebrand brings out a caution after he gets high in turn 4 and smacks the wall, bringing us to the final incident we just heard Ryan Briscoe talk about. Coming in really late was Joseph Newgarden, just as Ryan Briscoe was trying to make it to the pits, was on a strategy that could well have won him the race.
Here's Kevin with Joseph Newgarden.
All right, Joseph, we'll show the replay here again in a second. Ryan Briscoe said that he was getting ready to pit. You were on pressure tires a little bit quicker, but that was just too late to try to make a dive down there at the inside. How did you see it? And watch here on the replay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, Briscoe and yeah, I mean, it's pretty tough from that point because, you know, even coming up to it, I was looking at what they were doing, and Briscoe was working that top lane. You know, it just seemed like he wanted to be up in the middle of the top, and, you know, that was fine. So, you know, I decided, well, we're going to go low, and he had such a difference in speed, really. Is, you know, I went low on the entry, and then he kind of slowed down, and then started coming low as well. And I actually tried to get out of it because he started coming low, and I mean, I couldn't even get out of it in time. I tried to go below the yellow to avoid it and even brake, and, you know, there was just not enough there, really. So, you know, really caught me off guard, too. I was not trying to do anything silly or rushed. I think the race was really coming to us, and I was trying to be real methodical about everything we were doing, and, you know, it's a shame for it to end that way. I think we had a really strong car coming to us during the race for Sarah Fisher-Hartman Racing, and, you know, for it to end like that, I know everyone's pretty disappointed, including me, so.
Okay, good luck in Toronto. That's Joseph Newgarden, an early exit tonight.
And the lights go out on top of the pace car, which means we'll go back to racing in one more lap.
Now, we heard that transmission to, I think it was both Elio and Marco Andretti saying we need you to save some fuel. So they stopped several laps later than Dixon. So unless Dixon is getting much better mileage, he's going to be in some trouble on fuel.
Ed Carpenter is to the outside of Scott Dixon. However, Carpenter is the first car on the not on the lead lap in 11th position. 10 on the lead lap, and here we go once again. I love these restarts.
Wow, there's a restart for you. 3 wide.
And Carpenter tries to get his lap back. Tagliani has also lost.
Oh, my.
Oh, and Hinchcliffe is in the fence. Wow, we're seeing a lot of major point contenders bite the dust here tonight. Franchitti before the race started, Will Power, and now James Hinchcliffe, who came into this race second in the point standings, but he is going to drop.
And Tommy, you were just talking about fuel. That's out the window now. They have enough additional caution by the time they get this cleaned up. And Dixon was never in any danger of not making it. It's just that if people can use a little more fuel than you can, they're going to be more competitive. But he was never in danger of not making it to the end.
I was just wondering if he was going to have to be lean and they were going to be able to be rich.
I don't think anymore. I think you're getting to the point now where it's going to even it up.
See what happened to James Hinchcliffe as he has become the latest victim of the safer barrier.
Oh, it's not a teammate, is it? Oh, no, he loses it. He loses it in the aerodynamic wash. And how did Justin Wilson? Whoa! That was dodging a bullet.
This is what his engineer, strategist, was trying to tell him when he said, look, Dario's out and Will Power's out. He's trying to say, we need to finish this race.
He says, let's talk about who's in, not who's out. Well, he's now the one who's out. Yep, just, you can't.
Low pressures and turbulence. Wow.
This is from Pagano's
this would be the
point of view.
Best seat in the house right here.
You can see him wiggling the low. Yeah. Saw Pagano immediately.
But you see how fast? See how fast those caution lights came on the dash and the back of the cars. I mean, he was just starting to rotate. And boy, they let everybody know.
Didn't take any time, like wiping his brow. Phew, that was close. He was immediately going to the fuel knob to go to the yellow setting.
Yeah.
Watch immediately as he gets through the thing. You'll see the yellow lights come on on his steering wheel.
And as soon as you start seeing the lights start going on the dash, and just like you see right there, there is where he gets right down.
All right, so scratch off another contender. James Hinchcliffe is out of the race due to an accident. That leaves 16 cars still in competition, and 10 of them on the lead lap. Ed Carpenter was able to get his lap back, passing Dixon before the caution came out. Tagliani remains a lap down, and so does Sato and Kimball. And 50 laps to go here as Scott Dixon has the lead. We will pause for another break and be back with 50 final laps of racing uninterrupted on the NBC Sports Network. Stay with us. 2x2 ready for another restart here at Iowa Speedway. Scott Dixon is the leader of the race, leading the others off of corner number 4. The green flag waves again on lap 204.
Now Tagliani is a lap down. He's second on the screen by the lap down. Marco Andretti lurking.
We mentioned that Ed Carpenter got his lap back. He also made a pit stop to put on fresh rubber for the final laps.
Well, we saw that Ed Carpenter got his lap back, doing exactly right now what Tagliani's trying to do, get in front of Dixon in case there's a caution.
Andretti running second, then Castroneves, Hunter Ray, and Kanaan, the top 5.
I like that move by Carpenter coming in and getting new tires. He's got, basically 25, 30 lap newer tires than the leaders. He's got a long ways to go to catch up.
Sato is a lap down. Carpenter tries to move through the field now and be a contender here. By the way, James Hinchcliffe, who crashed out a few laps ago, was leading the A.J. Foyt Oval Championship coming into tonight's race. And the INDYCAR officials have announced that this year the Oval Track Championship will be determined in the final Oval Track race at Fontana in September, or the scheduled final race of the year. Oh, Tagliani's off the pace. This doesn't look good either. A lot of something coming from the back of that car. Will it be enough for a caution? Well, off the racetrack, down on the apron of the racetrack.
I think what you saw was things being kicked up from the track rather than coming from the car.
Well, he's going to stop. We're going to get a caution, and we will undoubtedly get a caution.
Well, he kind of pulled over. He pulled away. The where he pulled in, he kind of pulled away where there's a break in the wall, so they might get away with that.
Here's a battle for 4th position. Ryan Hunter-Reay and Tony Kanaan. Kanaan looks high. No room up there.
And what he's trying to do is he's trying to get far enough so that Hunter-Reay's spotter tells him outside.
Meanwhile, here's Wilson. He's trying to take the spot from TK as Pagano looks on. Boy, Pagano has just been incredible tonight.
Yeah, Bob, don't forget, Pagano started 25th. He's had no DNFs all season. He's finished all but 2 laps. His girlfriend's father passed away a few days ago. They were close. He's driving a great race.
Sure is. He has completed 99.8% of the laps so far this year. One more than Elio Castroneves.
And we've seen the best guys in this era of IndyCar racing make mistakes, take himself out of races. For a rookie to be that precise and that with as many variables and curveballs they've had thrown at him. Dario said it best. He says he is the real deal.
Yep. Pagano has gained the most positions from the start of the race. Kanaan has gained 14 and Rahal 11. Rahal is currently 9th. And this is Pagano and Wilson, 6th and 7th. We have had 8 leaders and 11 lead changes, and that equals the record for most leaders. 2007 also had 8 leaders, and that's where we are at the moment, with Dixon at a 2-second advantage over Marco Andretti.
And for Justin Wilson, you'll notice he does not go all the way down to the low side. He stays in the middle, and if you can stay smooth there, Tommy, you're going to be better on your tires. That is every time that Simon dives down here. Of course, he wants to get the position. That's where he has to go, but that's going to take more off the tires. But I think he's got it now.
Well, that was one of the things that Dario said is, and it makes sense if Wilson ran there the whole time in Texas. why he was so good late in the run. Dario says there's no magic about it. You turn the steering wheel less, and the balance of the car changes a little bit more, a little bit looser generally up top. While we're watching this battle, I'm dying to know if Dixon has enough fuel. Townsend?
I think he's going to be okay, but I'm going to go down and find out and check for you. If he doesn't have enough, then Marco should be in trouble too, right?
Well, Marco stopped. Those guys stopped a few laps later because he pitted under green, and then they got the yellow right after that. So they've got a few more laps of fuel. Obviously, the difference between Chevy and Honda.
Yeah, Dixon pitted on lap 176 and Andretti on lap 182.
Now, the other thing that Dario said, the last thing he left, before he left, he said, I want to tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, Dixie's car is starting to look good. He was noticing how low Scott was able to keep his car. And look at this, Catherine going 3 wide. Catherine around Simona, right as Marco is coming around her.
Andretti is within a half a second of Dixon.
Now, I can tell you the answer on Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon can't, we talked about this a little bit during the break. Scott Dixon can definitely make it to the end, but he may not. And here's another move. Ryan Hunter-Reay on the low side of Castro Neves. But the case for Dixon, he can definitely get to the end, but those who stop later could be a little more racy, using a little more fuel if they had to.
I guess I just went down and talked to Chip Ganassi, and I asked him, you guys okay on fuel? And he couldn't have been any cooler. He just said absolutely.
Yeah, they're fine.
Good stuff going out there on the racetrack. Here's Pagano to the inside of Wilson. We'll watch the activity as we talk to James Hinchcliffe, Robin.
Hinch, the INDYCAR camera thing looks like it snapped on you.
Yeah, I mean, on the restart there, we'd been understeering all night, which is sort of the weird thing about it. And we'd put a little bit of wing into the stop, and I don't know, man. It's just one of those things in the dirty air there. I think I was behind Ryan, and maybe Catherine was in front, and the car had been running better on the bottom almost all night. I wasn't able to run that high line like a lot of guys were, and sort of stuck it down there, trying to follow Catherine through. Snap one, snap twice, almost caught it, and went around. It's a kick in the pants, man. This late in the race, and the run, the way of finishes that we've been having, it really, really sucks. I feel bad for the GoDaddy guys. Obviously, the cars are running well. I think Marco's got a good shot at winning this thing, so I just feel bad for everybody in the team.
All right, thanks, kid. Marco's gaining on Dixon, and we just saw Pagano sweep by Justin Wilson.
Yep, good stuff out there on the track, and you're right. Marco Andretti is within just a few car lengths of Scott Dixon.
This kid likes this track. Finished everywhere on the podium, including a win last year.
There goes Kanan.
Kanan moves to fourth around Castro Neves.
And here comes Pagano.
Wow.
And this would be perfect timing for him because Castro Neves would have lost a little momentum, and he gets him.
Well, this makes sense that Elio is dropping spots. A few moments ago, he radioed in that he's dealing with a vibration. Don't know if it's tires starting to go away or something else, but when he reported that in, that's when he started dropping spots.
And that is something that some of the engineers predicted, that as the tires wear, for some reason at this racetrack, they do sometimes pick up a vibration. So that is something they've experienced before, and it can get bad.
Barrichello and Wilson battle for 7th position. Rubens takes it. Good run for Barrichello.
So here we thought Wilson was protecting the tires by running in the middle or the higher groove, but now he seems like he's in trouble.
Yeah, he's down. Last lap was 165 compared to 173, 174 for the leaders.
It's Takuma Sato running there. He is 12th, 2 laps down. So the laps click away, just 20 to go now. There is Ed Carpenter, who's come up to 9th.
Oh, look at Ryan Hunter-Reay. Yeah. That's for position. Look at the run he has on his teammate. He's going after Marco.
And he's not going to be able to do it, but there are the top 3 right there, close together within a half a second of each other.
Oh, Marco's going to be on the radio again. What are my teammates doing? Well, they're taking your second spot is what they're doing.
Oh, slide job. That's almost exactly what Marco did to Kanan last year, but they were not teammates.
Good side-by-side racing for second spot.
Marco gets it back.
Yeah.
That's why you got to stay with it.
If you just tuned into this race and didn't know a lot about racing, Marco Andretti, yeah, he's an Andretti. He must run up front all the time. Put in perspective, he's only had 1 podium since his win here last year.
Yep.
He just lost that spot that time.
And Pagano and Kanaan race on the right side of your screen.
You know why those teammates fight on the left side of the screen? That's letting Dixon get away. Dixon, if he sees that in the mirror, he'll be like, yeah, come on, guys, fight it out, because that's giving me a gap.
Look how low you saw it in that overhead. Dixon is pinned down on that yellow line. That's what Dario was reacting to when he said Dixie's looking good, being able to run so low like that.
We talked a lot in the pre-race show about the penalty that he received in Milwaukee. If he stays where he is, he can essentially, that memory will be erased. Because he's got an opportunity, as we already talked about, to take the lead in the championship if all stays as it is at the moment.
You tuned in to the NBC Sports Network tonight for racing, and we have got even more after this. The Firestone Indy Lights race was not conducted prior to the INDYCAR race. It will be run after this race.
Oh, here we go, Bob.
Live in a battle for the lead as Ryan Hunter-Reay gets it.
Wow. Just blew by him.
Looking for his second victory in a row. And now Andretti and Dixon are battling for second spot.
Yeah, once you lose momentum, Scott Dixon's just hanging on.
And Andretti will go to second.
He's grabbing gears all over the place. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Trying to work through traffic. These guys are working hard.
All of this has, at the moment, put Will Power back into the points lead by 3 over Ryan Hunter-Reay.
That's the kiss of death. As soon as you say, yeah, if it stays like it is, he'll be the lead of the championship. Pow, pow. He just loses 2 spots.
Wow, and he got held up by Jakes.
Laps to go. Ryan Hunter-Reay now leads by 1.5 seconds over Andretti. Simon Pagano leading this group of cars. He is 4th. Not too far up ahead is Scott Dixon.
Yeah, he's got a shot at Dixon. The way he's been running tonight. There he is.
Taking nothing away from whoever wins this race, but Pagano has been a star without question tonight, starting last and working his way up at the moment to 4th spot. Oh, Rahal and Barrichello close. That was a battle for position 7th.
He finishes here. That will put Pagano 6th.
Oh, look at that wiggle.
And here comes Ed Carpenter. Carpenter takes 8th.
Yeah, see, as soon as those words come out of your mouth, if he finishes here, that seems like that's all of a sudden, whoa, look out. It's not over till it's over, as we found out in Texas, or certainly Graham Rahal did.
Remember before the race, Ryan Hunter-Reay said when it's going to get interesting is 50, 60 laps into the run.
You can get him, 6 to go.
We're 62 laps after Hunter-Reay's pit stop. He says, I hope we're the ones that have it right and they're going forward, and boy, are they.
Just 5 to go as Tony Kanaan has gone to 4th, putting Pagano back to 5th. And there is second place Andretti by just a little more than 1 second. Andretti Autosport running 1st and 2nd.
Now remember in the pre-race show that Ryan Hunter-Reay said our car wasn't good, and we learned what we learned and took the setup from Marco Andretti. And there's a payback for you. Hey, thanks for the setup. See ya.
Tony Kanaan has passed Scott Dixon for 3rd. Moved Kanaan up to 3rd place. Catherine Legg is in the fence. And Graham Rahal just missed her, and the race is going to end under caution. How about that?
Ryan Hunter-Reay, Marco Andretti. Wow.
Back to back for Hunter-Reay.
Here's how Kanaan got around Scott Dixon for 3rd position. Just sailed by. And here is what has caused the 6th caution of the evening and the final one here at Iowa Speedway.
Lots of sparks.
At one point, Scott Dixon was the leader. Emma couldn't believe it when he lost the lead. But Michael Andretti said, yeah, way to go, Ryan. And we're on the final lap as Ryan Hunter-Reay leads Andretti down the backstretch, and Ryan Hunter-Reay is about to collect his second consecutive win in this year's IZOD INDYCAR Series, as he won last week in Milwaukee on the mile oval. And now Ryan Hunter-Reay will pick up his 7th career win here at Iowa Speedway. And Tony Kanaan will get a podium. He finished in 3rd spot. Scott Dixon comes home 4th, and Simon Pagenaud picks up a 5th place position. Ryan Hunter-Reay wins the Iowa Corn Indy 250 at Iowa Speedway as the fireworks go off. Prior to tonight, Ryan Hunter-Reay's best finish here was 8th, and he had done that in 2008, 10, and 11. Kevin?
Well, Michael, last weekend in Milwaukee was just about perfect as the race promoter in a 1-3. This is just about as good, though, I would assume.
It was real close. You know, if James didn't have his problem there, I think we had a shot at a 1-2-3, but we'll take 1-2. You know, the whole DHL Sundrop team did an awesome job again, doing another win right off coming off of last week, and Marco to do a great job and come up with the RC Poland car, so we're really happy. You know, they all did a great job, the whole crew. Marco did a great job, and so did, and especially Ryan. He drove a hell of a race.
And they've got some momentum. All 3 cars, again, fast here tonight.
Awesome fireworks display, and Ryan Hunter-Reay has moved to 2nd in the point standings. And Becky, his wife, getting a little emotional there as she saw her husband take the checkered flag here tonight. And Andretti salutes his teammate, winning the race, and Andretti finishing in 2nd spot. Ryan Hunter-Reay just 3 behind Will Power, who, despite the fact that he crashed, maintains the points lead. Scott Dixon is 3rd, 15 points behind. We will come back to Iowa Speedway in just a moment to talk with the winner, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Welcome back to Iowa. I'm standing here with Marco Andretti, man. Your best finish in quite a while now. But I heard you on the radio on the cool-down lap. You're saying, man, we got to figure out how that guy keeps beating me. You're not thinking about a top 3. You're thinking about wins.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's, first of all, a great team effort. It's definitely credit to the team. It's definitely a statement as well that, you know, Andretti Autosport is now the one to beat. So, you know, 2 in a row for the team, 2 in a row at Iowa. It's a good day, but for me, yeah, I'm a little disappointed to come up short.
When you were out there battling back and forth, you guys were with Hinch and with Hunter-Reay, you know, heard you on the radio, a little fired up about leaving air with your teammates, giving each other room. Any major issues, or is that just tight racing in Iowa?
No, I wish I can give you guys a good story, but it's you know, it's just for the front, so what are you going to say? I'd race them the same way.
All right, guys, well, we're back upstairs to you, Bob.
All right, congratulations to Marco Andretti. Couldn't quite duplicate his feat from last year, but came home 2nd nevertheless. And now to victory lane, and Ryan Hunter-Reay as he exits the race car.
And 2 in a row for Ryan Hunter-Reay as he celebrates with the DHL Sundrop team, the Andretti Autosport team. That's now 4 in a row this team has won on the short ovals. Congratulations. This one was challenging as last week in Milwaukee.
Oh, my God. That was very challenging. We were sliding around a little bit more today, but I have to thank Marco. They came here and tested. Marco put the setup on this car when we came here. We tweaked it just a little bit from there. We basically raced what he tested with. We got another win for Chevy, DHL, and Sundrop. Also, Marco and I raced really hard out there, but really clean. It's great to have a teammate like that, and we're just so happy to be in victory lane twice in a row. thank you so much to the fans for sticking around with the rain delay and everything. That's twice in a row, so love it. Thank you so much.
Good racing with your teammate Marco Andretti, and then talk about the pass with Scott Dixon to get the lead late.
Yeah, I was really good on the high side, just setting up traffic, and I saw it coming as the tires wore off. We were really strong, just like at Milwaukee. So a big testament to this team. These guys do a very, very good job. We keep our heads the whole weekend, and like I said, Marco did an excellent job both on the track today and testing here. That's very important to come here with a really good car like that.
You were 20th about this time last year in the championship. I know you're thinking about 2 wins in a row right now, but you are a legitimate contender in the championship. How does that make you feel?
I wish we had some more 1 mile ovals coming up, man. Those are fun. I mean, the racing that we've had on that tonight seemed like it was pretty exciting. So I can't believe twice in a row, man. This is so cool. This is a difference maker for sure.
Congratulations. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, our winner here at Iowa. Let's check in with Townsend Bell.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Standing here with Scott Dixon. Came home fourth after what appeared to be a pretty smooth run at the front. What happened there towards the end?
I didn't think the car was that great all night. We definitely threw a lot at it this weekend, and Eric did a great job of finding something that was comfortable to drive. But I had to push it quite hard. I think the Andretti car's outright speed was definitely a bit better, and burnt the front tires off and started slipping back. But we got caught up behind Jakes and Charlie there, sort of racing it out, and couldn't get by them, and then Jakes let the two Chevys go and moved back up in front of me. So it was a bit of a long night. I think we did the best that we could with strategies and the car that we had. We just needed the race to maybe be a little shorter.
After the fortunes of the last two races on the ovals, do you come out here with a sense of a relief that you got a solid finish?
Yeah, it's nice to have a car that's there at the end, and we earned okay points tonight. I think we could have been a little bit better off, but I think all in all with Hinch and Will having a bit of a bad night has definitely helped in the points. I think we're only 5 or 10 out of the lead now, which is nice. Obviously, Hunter-Reay's moved up, so looking forward to moving on to Toronto and hopefully having a good go at these street courses.
All right, mate. Bob.
Thanks, man.
That's Scott Dixon, and he is currently third in the point standings. That's where he came into the race and is currently where he is. However, Ryan Hunter-Reay moves up 2 to second, just 3 markers behind Will Power. Elio moved up a spot. Hinchcliffe, because of the crash, lost 3 positions. Tony Kanaan also gains 1, as does Graham Rahal. He moves into the top 10 point standings. Well, last Saturday afternoon, after a rain delay in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on the famous Milwaukee Mile, Ryan Hunter-Reay passed Elio Castroneves, and he went on to take the checkered flag to win it. And then, after about a 40-minute rain delay, here at Iowa Speedway tonight, Ryan Hunter-Reay wins, this time beating his teammate Marco Andretti across the line. Back at the Iowa Corn Indy 250, which has concluded with Ryan Hunter-Reay the winner. Ryan Hunter-Reay joined Andretti Autosport in 2010, and in that time span, he has now won more races for that team than all other Andretti Autosport drivers combined. Let's go to Townsend Bell.
Thanks, Bob. Down here with Elio Castroneves. A little bit of a smile. You moved up 1 spot in the points, but tell us about the race there at the end. What happened to you?
Yeah, man, that was actually the Penske truck rental wasn't really smooth. I mean, we were like on rails, and unfortunately, the last pit stop, I don't know what happened. We ended up right out of the bat. We ended up having vibration. I'm not sure if it was right rear. The car was a little loose. That's it. When you get vibration, everything turns. The visions get blurry. The cars get unsettled. So, I'm a little bit disappointed because my boys did an incredible job in the pit stop. I mean, we led a lot of laps, and it's a shame not to take that home. But in the end, the positive thing, you're right. We did move 1 spot in the championship. Let's keep moving forward.
You've been doing this a while. Do you prefer this new format, no pack racing here at Iowa, and a lot of driving?
Absolutely. I mean, as you can see, once the car goes off just a little bit, that's it. Not much you can do. And some guys from the back come forward. So this is the type of race that I think the fans enjoy. I don't know. You guys are the judge of that. But in the end of the day, I had fun.
All right, thanks, pal. Kevin, you're in victory lane.
All right, his boy hit front. Tony Kanaan is over here. 2nd straight podium in a row. That's something to feel good about. But when you're that close, I'm sure it's a little bit frustrating that you can sniff that win again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I won't take it for granted it's a podium, but we had a car to definitely win the race. And, when you start back there, it's tough. So we got to improve our qualifying runs a little bit. And, we'll do that, and we'll be able to win some races. But a fun race. I think you guys saw a lot of passing, so this package worked really well, so we'll take it.
Yeah, he did a lot of it from 19th to 3rd. Townsend?
Thanks, Kevin. Standing down here with my teammate from Indianapolis. Started 25th tonight, buddy. Ended up, what, 5th, 4th, 5th, I guess. Unbelievable. Tell me about your drive.
Well, Townsend, it has been an emotional weekend for me. I lost who I consider my stepdad, my dad's girlfriend, this weekend. So it has been tough. You know, it has been a really tough weekend. I'm going back to France tomorrow. So, you know, I'm glad we had a good race. It felt like almost like it was with me, to be honest. I drove with my heart. And everything I had inside, you know, I never gave up. And I had a brilliant race car. I mean, we were nowhere in a heat race. I was surviving, and the guys did an awesome job giving me what I had.
If there was one person, a mentor or a coach or a teacher that helped you get to where you are today, anybody come to mind?
He must be Luke. He must be watching. It's Gilles de Ferran. I mean, he's we'll coach each other.
What about what we did at Texas and the talk and all the time in May?
That was only a few weeks,
right? Great. Not getting any love down here, guys.
Great job from Simon tonight. Let's take a look at the final results. It's Marco's first top 10 finish of the season. Kanan's third podium in the last 5 races. Pagenaud gets his 6th finish of 6 or better this season. And Rubens Barrichello has his best IndyCar finish of his career. Justin Wilson coming home in 10th position, but there were just 9 cars on the lead lap at the conclusion. The second 10, Charlie Kimball, Takuma Sato survives the evening, James Jakes, Simona De Silvestro, and Catherine Legg. Then those who are out, Tagliani, Hinchcliffe, Briscoe, Newgarden, and Conway. And then the final 5 include Dario Franchitti, who didn't even start the race because of the engine problem. So there you have the unofficial results, with Ryan Hunter-Reay coming home as the victor tonight. And again, a big shakeup in the point standings as Power maintains the lead, but by just 3 over Ryan Hunter-Reay, who moved up 2 positions with his victory here tonight. Well, don't miss the start of cycling's most prestigious event, the Tour de France, beginning next Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern. Stay tuned. The Firestone Indy Lights Iowa 100 is next live. The IZOD INDYCAR Series continues on the NBC Sports Network from Edmonton City Center, Sunday, July 22nd at 12:30 Eastern. For more information on the IZOD INDYCAR Series, log on to NBCSports.com. Congratulations to Ryan Hunter-Reay, who wins tonight. For Jan Beekes, Tommy Kendall, Townsend Bell, Kevin Lee, and Robin Miller, I'm Bob Jenkins. Thanks to Tommy Kendall, his final appearance with us, but we thank him for his help the last couple of races. We'll see you in a few weeks at Edmonton, Alberta.
Watching this presentation of the IZOD INDYCAR Series.